All these lies and delusions wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. All these lies and delusions wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. All these lies and delusions wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. Clear my mind and my soul. Gave me a new man. Oh, made me whole. I rise up.
Quam,
I'll be a new light.
quam,
I am awakened.
quam,
I am
quam.
awakened.
Yes, you
I
are.
am awakened. All these lies and delusions wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. Israelites journey.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Peace and blessings to the whole house of Israel, the northern and the southern kingdom. Hope everybody's doing well, and hopefully everybody is having a blessed and peaceful Shabbat. And hope you are well and that the Father is keeping you this day. I want to say shalom to the brothers on the panel. Shalom to Banya, Brother Hagee, and Brother Ibre. We start with the top. Brother Banya, say what's up to the fam.
Shalom and blessings, family. I hope everybody's having a great Shabbat.
Okay, Brother Hal.
Peace and blessings, fam. Happy Shabbat. Hope everybody's doing well.
Brother E.
Shalom, shalom. Hope all is well, everybody. Good to see everybody in the chat.
It is good to see everybody in the chat. And Brother Yah, Shabbat Shalom to you. We sent out the email to everybody. So, brother, if you want to jump on, there's the link. You can go ahead and jump in with the family. So, family, it's good to see you on this Shabbat. It's always a blessing to fellowship with the family. And we weren't even going to come on today, but, you know, Banya said, hey, man, Brother Cleo, jump out there and do a show because you've been kind of lazy. No, the brother didn't say that. I'm just Brother didn't say that. I typically will look at what the heathen is doing, and I watch a lot of white evangelical channels and whatnot. But let's not even really get into that all the way. Let's get into the family, and before we even really jump into that, you know, even before that, we like to thank the Father for giving us the Shabbat. Father says 6 days you shall work, and on the seventh day you shall do what? Rest. And so that's what we're doing on this Shabbat. But then we also like to, from time to time, fellowship with the family and be with the family. So we're going to be with the family, and we're going to thank the Father. Father, we thank you for not only the Shabbat, but we thank you for choosing us. And we thank you for waking us up this hour because of the fact that we are Israel and you chose us. And it's a blessing to be Israel, and it's a blessing to be chosen by you to know that all the stuff that we've been going through is in the book. All the stuff that you prophesied that you said you were going to do, you are doing it. And we're seeing what's going on in this hour with all of these wars and rumors of war, but we're not troubled. We root for you, Father, that your will be done. And we saying yes to Ukraine and Russia, yes to China and Taiwan, yes to Iran and Israel, yes to North Korea and South Korea, and yes to whatever's going to befall any nation, a part of the Psalms 83 coalition. All the nations that came against us about to get taxed. So, Father, we thank you and we praise your name. And we lift you up and we lift up your son, HaMashiach. We thank you, Father. Praise your name. So now, after giving the Father his due and lifting him up, I want to go through the chat right quick, and then we're going to get busy. So, Darnell Blackshear, peace and blessings to you, brother. Faithful brother. Good to see you. Maria, peace and blessings to you, sis. Good to see you. Katrina Brown, peace and blessings to you. Let's see here. Optimal training. Shalom, brother. Peace and blessings to you. Family, please forgive me for not throwing you guys up. So I'm going to go back and capture those because I think that it's a good thing to throw individuals up as we're calling their name out. So optimal training. Peace and blessings to you. Paula Lawrence. Shalom to you, sis. Hope you're having a blessed day. And tell the Ralph Wolf we said hello. This is our family from Australia. Shout out to Australia. Shout out to our family in the UK, the brothers over there who's putting in, and the sisters. Can't forget the sisters, brothers and sisters that's putting in the work all across the whole earth, the dispersed, the true people of the book. Let's see, Yash. Where's Yash at? Yash is in there. Man, I'm not saying Shabbat Shalom to you. You part of the panel. Say what's up to the family, Yash. How you doing, brother?
All right, man. Shabbat Shalom, man. I caught this at the last second, man. Sitting over here with my granddaughter, just breaking down some scriptures. And I noticed, I said, oh, we coming on, which what I was hoping all day long. So I'm just excited to be here today. And I give all thanks and praise to the Most High. And I want to say one more thing before we get started. I just put this up there. It said, but Zion said, the Most High have forsaken me. And my Elohim has forgotten me. He said, can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of thy womb? Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee. Behold, I have engraven thee on the palms of my hands. Thy walls are continually before me. Thy children shall make haste. Thy destroyers and they that made thee waste shall go forth of thee. Lift up thine eyes round about, and behold, all these gather themselves together and come to thee. As I live, saith Yah, thou shalt surely clothe thee with them all as with an ornament, and bind them on thee as a bride doeth. And for thy waste and thy desolate places in the land of thy destruction shall now even be too narrow by reason of the inhabitants, and they that swallowed thee up shall be far away. So we're looking at history in the making. It's about to go down. We have but a little while. So let's just be patient.
Yes. Thank you for that word.
We got next.
We is next.
Amen.
I tell you all the time. The next, and I'm saying this, and we're not even a foreign nation. The next superpower ain't Russia, and it's not China, it's not Iran, it's not Israel. It's the Israelites, it's the people of the book. That's the next world power. And when we run at things, it's gonna be ran the right way and correct. Right? Shalom to Hal Goodwin. I don't know where that brother been MIA for the last 8 weeks now. No, I'm just messing with you. Shabbat Shalom, brother. Hope you are well. Linda Rick, Shabbat Shalom to you, sis. Hope all is well. Sister Trust Cafe, Shabbat Shalom to you, faithful sisters. Hope you are well. Let me see if I can pronounce this right. Hadassah Ben Yah, Shalom, sis. Shalom to you, peace and blessings. Jason Camphor, Shabbat Shalom to you, brother. Hope you are well. Hope the Father has you at peace on this Shabbat. Brother Smitty is in the house, folks. We got a celebrity in the house. Y'all better get his autograph now. When he blow up, he gonna be like, man, I can't get y'all no autograph. I'm too famous around here. Brother Smitty, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome. AJ Shalom. Good to see you. MJ Lee. Peace and blessings to you. Psalms 27. When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. That's the book. See, that's why I say y'all bring y'all precepts. Israel, modern day Israel, this new generation, and all of Israel. Guess what? Israel been digging into that book. They've been finding some things. Albany, Georgia. Shabbat shalom to you. Divine seed. Peace and blessings to you, brothers. Shabbat shalom. Pamela J. Peace and blessings. Shabbat shalom to you. Sister Rochelle, peace and blessings, fam. Hope you are well. Tell Big Mom we said hello. Hope all is well with her as well. Let me see. There's a street going towards Vegas with this name. I can't pronounce it, but I'll just say it. ZYZX N3 Need 4. That's what it looked like. Peace and blessings to you. Sarita Hebrew Shalom, sis. Peace and blessings to you. Hope you are well. Chadro. Shalom, brother. Hope you are well. Peace and blessings to you. Sister Keisha, Shabbat Shalom. Peace and blessings to you. The Ralph Wolf, hey, brother. Hope you are well. Shabbat Shalom. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Hope you are well. Hope the Father is blessing you as you're down under, but wherever our people are, he said he was going to disperse us, but he said he was going to bring us back. So it's good to see you. Now, let me see if I can pronounce this. Isaiah, peace and blessings to you. Shalom. Sister Shebrew, shalom, sis. Hope you are well. Peace and blessings to you. Let me see. No, I think it's the other way around. You got to put up with my foolishness, right? Say, let's get serious, brother. See, man, you play around too much. Shalom, Joy, 31608. Peace and blessings. So, fam, let's see. We got another one coming in. Yaquam. Yeah. Shalom, peace and blessings. Let's see. We got some more people coming in. Diane Gardner Young. Shalom, sis. Shabbat shalom to you. Cassie Phillips. Shabbat shalom to you. Peace and blessings. Hello, we are waiting for the message. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. I appreciate that. Peace and blessings to everybody. So, fam, this particular message that we're going to be going in today, we're looking at the Psalms. We're looking at white evangelicals and their connection to Psalms 83 and why I call them physicians of no value. Somebody can go get that precept where they are talked about as being physicians of no value. And why I say that, why they're connected to Psalms 83, is for the simple fact that they're running shop right now. We're not running shop. Israel's not running shop. The shop is not being ran righteously. So because of that, you're going to have the chaos that you see now. You're going to have the wars and rumors of wars, the actual fighting, because it's all getting back to what the Father said in the book, what he said was going to happen because of how they treated his people. And so
Right.
if you don't have your eschatology right, if your eschatology is jacked up, where you thinking the 1948 people is the people of the book, then everything that you think you know about the Bible is wrong. So what we have to do as Israelites, we have to witness to our family, not only our family, but we're supposed to be the light of the world. Books calls us salt and light. So we need to be the one that's bringing people into the truth. Now, what we need to focus on is our people first and foremost, whether they hit or forbear. We focus on our people first. So I was out searching, and as I normally do, like I was saying, I typically will look at white evangelical prophets and white evangelical pastors just to see what their perspective is. And I'm going to say this, at least 90% of them follow the whole thing with the maggot paradigm, or MAGA paradigm. I say maggot, that's wrong. But the MAGA paradigm and the Donald Trump paradigm, they follow that whole thing. But then a part of that is the whole idea of, okay, white supremacy doesn't exist, which they're in denial. Slavery was a bad thing, but get over it. Tenets such as those. And so I like to watch them to see how far off they are. For me, it's really just a source of entertainment. So the brothers on the panel have not seen any of the videos that I have lined up. And I think I have 3, maybe even 4. I'm going to find this other one that I was looking at this morning, because that's going to be key too. Now, here's the thing, fam. Christianity as a whole was was a construct that was made to keep us blind and away from the truth of the book, right? But the way that Christianity it was even co-opted and ruined, even by those who created it, is so bad and so far off that you're gonna need a lobotomy to get your mind right, right? If you still have people like myself talking about, hey, if I close my eyes, or if you tell me the J word, Jesus, the first thing I'm gonna think of is Cesare Borgia. Or if you say God to me, first thing I'm thinking about is some white man looking like Zeus or Thor sitting on the throne. That's sad. That's very sad. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna stop talking. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it like how my brother Hal has instructed me to do, because nobody's seen this video. So I'm gonna share a video. We're gonna play it, and then I'm gonna have not only the family in the chat, but I want to get my brother's take on it, because when we talk about, and I had this discussion with my brother Banya this morning, when we talk about the Psalms 83 people, the first thing that comes to your mind is somebody that looked like a Caucasoid. Tell me that's not true. Put a one up if that's true for you. When we talk about Psalms 83, the first person that we think about is the Caucasoid, or the Caucasian, or some people call them heathen, some people call them Esau. When someone says Psalms 83, who is the first image that pops into your mind? Would that be not even Donald Trump? Would that be, for me, it'd be that wicked entity, Richard Nixon or Ronald Reagan? War on drugs. War on the Israelites. That's what that was. You lying and saying it was a war on drugs. It was war on Israel. Elena Ephraim, I didn't see that. I You've been in my mind. Look at this. Check this out. Look at this. See, say that. Okay, are we gonna go there? We gonna go there? She said have to. Okay, so we don't. Okay, so I see a bunch of ones in here, right? So now I'm gonna ask the question on the flip side. Out of the Psalm, and I asked my brother Banya this question. Out of the Psalms 83 people, who would you give a break? Matter of fact, I'm gonna ask the panel that. This is for the panel first. Panel, Banya, Ibri, Yash, and Hal. Out of the Psalms 83 people, which one of those groups of people would you give a break to?
Not a dang one. Not me.
I would say none.
Okay. E.
I would say none, but at the same time, whichever ones are willing to fulfill prophecy.
Yes. Yes.
Could you repeat the question?
Okay, you got jokes today. You know what I'm gonna tell you? Go get saved. Anyway, the question is this: out of the Psalms 83 folks who've been beating us over the head since time immemorial, who would you give a break to?
I give them all a break. Broken arms, legs, and necks.
Okay. So y'all gonna have me cry like how I was last night after the show.
No, I wouldn't give any of them a break though.
Okay.
That's on the Most High, you know what I mean?
Okay, so then let me ask this question, and then E, you made an awesome point, because the Father is gonna spare someone, and that's the book. But have you seen any? And this is a question for the panel. Have you seen any cases recently where you will see a couple of different people in these people groups that are named in Psalm 83, where they get together and they either want to harm Israel or they spitting on Israel? And that's a yes or no type of question, or if you want to go into detail, that's up to you.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen any situations where they was really doing any good for us. Yeah, I don't I don't think they've done anything to help us.
Definitely not that. Brother Kadar, hold on a second before. Brother Kadar, just dropped the link in. Brother, if you want to join on, I sent the email out to everybody. If you want to jump in, you're more than welcome. So any of you other brothers got, before I start the video, because any of you other brothers, have any of you other brothers seen on any medias where you have the some of the Psalms 83, and it could be two different people from two different nations talking about what ails Israel. And when I mean Israel, I'm talking about the people of the book. Anytime you hear me say Israel, I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about us. But have any of you brothers seen any medias or anything like that where you have a couple of different nations talking about what ails us or why things are the way that they are? And then I'm gonna move off and we're gonna watch the video.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it. They certainly, I'm glad you made that distinction, Brother Cleo, because they're certainly not talking about it in terms of us being Israel. But what they will do is they'll have conversations about why are, quote, black people so downtrodden. You know, what do black people need to do to pick themselves up out of bootstraps, or, you know, that those kind of conversations. So they're conversations about us and what we need to do, but they're not referring to us as Israel.
That's a brilliant point, bro. The fact that you said pull yourself up by your bootstraps, when as soon as we get a pair of boots, they take the boots and the straps and then say, okay, nigger, let me have your socks too.
There you go. Yep.
I mean, they're not famous for that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I've heard some too.
Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry too. Yeah, I've heard a couple of them, but they only complained when after 2019, when we started arising. And the only reason why they did mention, and like you said, they didn't mention us as Israel on a whole, but the only reason why they did mention America's treatment of black folks, that was just so that to take the eye off of the crimes that they did. They was just getting sick and tired of Babylon moving in on their territory, but they ain't really care. They just use that as a point of contention. That's all.
Right.
Make it seem like they had nothing to do with it, but they all get the white meat treatment to me.
Yeah.
That's
broken arms, broken skulls.
I'm gonna go on record. I'm nonviolent.
So you know how I'm getting down, and it ain't pretty.
Yeah.
It ain't pretty.
Listen, I still got those images in my head, and I was in bed last night, and actually not last night, this morning I was cracking up because that's too hilarious.
Hey, listen, man, you don't know, man. It was just like that.
I believe.
I'll tell you what else, bro. Like a lot of these nations know who we are, and they don't want to see us restored to our former position. You know, one thing that's been consistent or a common theme throughout history is that Israel stay in everybody's mouth. Everybody always got something to say about Israel. Everybody always got something to say about us. You know, they always got, you know, there's always a point of contention when there is this potential for us to gain something. That's the only time they have conversations about us, is when, one, they want to accuse each other of not being humane, or two, if there's some potential for us to gain something and grow off of it. You know, other than that, as long as we suffering, you know, and they're able to do whatever they're able to do, and I'm talking about each individual nation, nobody cares. Nobody cares about what happens to us. But whenever there's a situation with them, within them, and they're infighting, then all of a sudden they want to bring each other's transgressions up. They don't have nothing to say until then, or until we have opportunity to actually get our pair of boots.
That right there fits into crafty counsel, bro. That's some of that crafty counsel that the book speaks of, and how they actually conspired. Any other brother have anything to add to that? Some great commentary by the brothers. If you brothers have any commentary to add, you can do it before or after, because after you guys watch this video, then I definitely want to hear it. Go ahead, brother.
I think to add to what Brother Bunyard was saying, they also want to keep us close. As much of a reproach as we are to them, they got to keep us close because we are their wealth, you know. But they know once we leave, then the Most High is gonna judge, you know, the nations like he really wants to, just like the first time in Egypt, you know.
Indeed, I want to say shalom and peace and blessings to the brother Dorville. Brother, how you doing? Hope all is well.
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing
Peace and
good,
blessings
man.
to
And
everyone else in the room as well.
Peace, bro.
good
Shalom,
to see you, man. Good to see you on this Shabbat. And I want to say again, thank you for all of the info. And I'm gonna say this, fam. If you want to know what a walking, talking, breathing encyclopedia and a well of information looks like and sounds like, listen to this brother. This brother is exactly that. The research that this brother's been doing and the stuff that I've been seeing, it's actually too much. It really truly is. And I'll say this: Israel's in good hands. I'll just say that we in real good hands because we got people like this brother right here. The information that he has his hands on and the information that I see pass in front of me, it's like you'll get one thread, and mind you that he's sending out many threads a day. You'll get one thread, and that thread will take you down so deep that you'll be 3 months later, and you'll come back and say, "Hey, where have I been for the last 3 months?" Well, you've been in that rabbit hole that Dor L done sit you down. So we appreciate you, bro. Trust and believe that, and we look forward to having you on again to do another show.
No problem, brother. I just sent out one. If someone could share, pull it up and share it. It's called the Indigo. It's a cognate of indigo. So if someone could bring that up to share with the people, so this lets us know that because basically indigo is a cognate of Igbo. So the word is a cognate that comes from Igbo. So this is showing us that not only is that word coming from Igbo and has a direct connection to the word indigo, which we get the word Indian from. And then you see, I show an ancient map of China. The Chinese have an ancient map, a world map, where they call Southern Africa India. So we are the first Indians, basically. So we are the Indians. The word Indian refer to the Indigo people who are the Igbo people.
Hold on, let me see if I can scroll through. I was pulling something up real quick. Let's see what we got here. All right, so is this what you're talking about right here?
Press the plus.
Yeah, that's the map that's showing you the highlight where the Chinese has an ancient map.
Press the plus at the bottom. Press the plus at the bottom, bro.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm just returning this back to normal first.
Where they show they show that 145 is India. So if you go to the map, you'll see that 145 is Africa, and that's sub-Saharan Africa, where you have the yellow. I've highlighted in yellow. That's the state. That's the continent of Africa. That particular. So you see the sub-Saharan part would have been called India.
Okay, so I'm looking at this, and here's what we're gonna do, Dor, because this is a heavy topic, man. We're gonna have to do a show just on this alone, because just in looking at that map, I saw something, but I'm not even gonna say it because that's gonna take us down the a whole nother thing, and we got this lesson to do. So let's do this. Let's converse offline, and we could set up a time where we could do that show, because that's important for us to. It's important for the people to see the information that you have, and I don't know, because I see who's on the email, and I'm not going to bring up anybody's names that's not here, but I see you as a conduit for truth. So, having said that, what we're going to do is, I truly appreciate you. So now that we've took a look at that, he done tipped his hand on that, but brother got all kind of information that just make your head
You
spin
know,
like
put
a lady
it
in
in
Pegasus.
both with the rest of the wealth.
Yeah, man. There, it's a blessing to even be seeing all of that, man. Like I said, you can get stuck. So at any rate, so this is what we're gonna do, family. We're gonna play this first video, and I believe it's I'm gonna share my screen. And this is from the video is from, let me see what I'm doing here. Okay, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. So this video, I don't know if you've heard of this individual, but this individual's name is let me mute that for now. This individual's name is Lance Wallnau, and he's a big time prophet in the white evangelical circle, right? And so he's going to be interviewing someone. So let me get back to the yard, and I could share my screen, and then we'll get into the video. So this is a popular white evangelical, and this is only 12 minutes long. So let me get the play button. Okay, hold on a second.
That leads me to our special guest who is with us, who is actually part of, I think, the raising up of new voices that are going to be kind of like a fresh vanguard talking to America about the organized left and how they go about dismantling culture. And I think we just have to learn these terms. Would you welcome Melissa Tate? Melissa, come on and join us. You've got a best-selling book out there called Choice Privilege, and you have a unique story to tell. You've been doing activist work. You've been working as an author and a speaker, and I don't think that this for you is a gig. I think it's really a passion and a value, but a lot of it comes out of the fact that you've observed how these organized Marxist strategies have dismantled other countries. Tell the folks a little bit about your own background.
Okay, so thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on the show. You've been such an inspiration for me becoming activated, so it's really great that I'm on the show. So I'm originally from Zimbabwe. I was born and raised in Zimbabwe, and at the age of 19, I left everything and everyone I knew to come to the United States to study, and that's pretty typical for most middle-class families to send their kids to study abroad. But what was different about my story is I came at a time when our country was actually going through a devastating economic collapse and hyperinflation of just epic proportions. So for me to come to the United States in the natural was completely impossible. But because my mom is a fire-breathing, tongue-talking, spirit-filled woman of God, she said, you're coming by faith. You're going to America by faith. So by faith, I arrived in the United States with $300 in my pocket, a suitcase full of clothes, and by the supernatural grace of God and hard work, I was able to pay my way through college. I graduated with a business degree, worked for a major bank for about 3 years as an investment advisor, and then I started my own business in e-commerce at a time when e-commerce was just taking off like a rocket. So my business just blew up more than I expected it would. So by the time I was 27 years old, I had a business that was doing seven figures.
Excuse me, brother. Can we just pause it for 1 second?
I had multiple.
Can we pause it for 1 second?
Yeah.
Yeah, just so that we can get the gist of. Now, her book was called, I can't remember the rest of the book, but it was called Privilege. We have to remember that the word privilege means private law, and that was something that was associated only to white people. So we have to keep that in mind as listening to her. We have to catch that term that she used, privilege, which is, like I said, associated with private law, which was associated with the creation of white people, the class of white people. So just to add that.
Did y'all catch that, fam? Choice privilege equals choice white people. Red, white, and blue don't mean you.
And that just basically living the American dream. So you fast forward to 2020 and I start to hear this narrative that America is this evil, systemically racist country that oppresses minorities. That obviously did not resonate with me. But that's the reason why I ended up writing my book, in order to make sense of what was going on in the country.
So let's talk about that for a second, because Marxism is an ideology that thrives on division. It literally accumulates power and puts money into the hands of new elites that control systems of government and business by taking power on the basis of strife. It's one of the most demonic things in the world. You think about a business strategy by organizing class against class, the poor against the rich. You could destabilize a country and destroy it. But in America, as you're testament to, the Marxists ran into a problem, and that is this promise of a middle class, which is why you see the left strategically at war against the middle class. They're against small businesses. They're against middle class sports, middle class symbols, the flag, NASCAR, NFL. And so we have a different kind of Marxism here. Talk to the folks and explain to them how, if economic Marxism can't create a revolution of tearing the country apart over economic disparity, what did the Marxists do in America that gave them a foothold?
Well, when Marxists are not able to exploit the economics of a society, then they can exploit other divisions in a society. In America, because it happens to have a history of slavery and all this history of racism and so forth, they were able to take that from the past and use that as a root of division. So you see that in the United States, they're now using race as something that they use to divide the country. So basically, it's divide and conquer politics. And like you said, it's the politics of grievance. And this is something that I actually witnessed in Zimbabwe as well, because we do have a white population in Zimbabwe. And now looking back, I look at it, I'm like, that was actually cultural Marxist critical race theory that we're seeing take place here as well. And basically what happened in Zimbabwe is that, after independence, our president declared that blacks and whites would come together and move forward and look towards the future and not towards the past of our colonialism. And that was actually a good thing. So when I grew up in Zimbabwe, I grew up going to school with white people. Black and white people lived in harmony in Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe was a capitalist country to begin with. And when they started to implement these socialist policies, it started to create a lot of economic turmoil in the country. And instead of taking ownership of their own failed policies, they just basically shifted the blame from themselves to, the problem is not us. The problem is the white farmers who have taken your land. So you need to go get that land back from the white man. So you start to see how that parallels with what's going on here in the United States. You see that, the elites in this country have basically gutted the middle class, shipping jobs to China, doing all these things that have, basically affected the middle class in a very profound way. And to shift away from that narrative, they've just blamed it on white supremacy. So it's pretty much the same playbook that I have seen that took place in Zimbabwe that is now being used over here. So it just makes sense, because you just start to see how all of it comes together. It's just about shifting the narrative and shifting the blame, and you blame one group, and one group is supposed to rise up against that other group and create destabilization. And I'm sure you know about what happened in Zimbabwe, that the results were just devastating. The economy became it fell the bottom out. I mean, we had the worst inflation in the history of the planet. I mean, at the height of it, we were printing $100 trillion bills. And I actually remember being in the supermarket with my mother, and we were putting things in the cart at one price. And by the time we got to the till to check out, the price had gone up. And that's how quickly inflation took place in Zimbabwe. So as you can imagine, it was just devastating for both Black and white people. The middle class was completely destroyed. So now we have a tiny rich elite in Zimbabwe and everybody else is poor.
Yeah, and so the game, and that's exactly what the left wants to do in America. They want to make sure that the tiny rich elite that they have, which is the oligarchs now, the big companies, the big box stores, are all thriving. COVID was the perfect gift for them because they could shut down and destroy everybody else, print paychecks so that people don't have to work. The only problem is after $30 trillion like Zimbabwe, the printed money, you can only go so far before those dollars actually start to hit with inflation. Then God help America if we ever lose the ability to export those dollars around the world, because when that happens, then the dollar itself no longer is the reserve currency in the world, and all that money comes back home. And I remember being given $1 million Zimbabwe bill, and then like $1 billion bill at a conference I was doing from someone that was warning me and saying, pay attention to Zimbabwe because this is how the Marxists destroyed a flourishing country through strife and division and economic destruction. And I could see the devil doing the same thing in America. And since we're talking about this as a spiritual thing, you made a very interesting statement that I wanted you to amplify, because I wrote in my book that the woke phenomena has an even bigger danger because it operates as a religion. It's almost like cancel culture is actually like excommunication. It's what you do when you're not maintaining the orthodoxy. Blasphemy laws is when you use the wrong gender pronoun. And so critical race theory is a lot like a false religion, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It has become a religion that is embraced by even the Black community. And this is something that we're seeing take place. And what you see is, if you study Black American history, you find that they were very spiritual people, but now it's become kind of like a religion of Blackness. And now the identity is no longer, I am a child of God, I'm a born-again Christian, and my identity is who I am in Christ. Now the identity is, it's my Blackness. And then when you also see it on the white liberal side of it, they're embracing it as a way that they see it as they can be the saviors and the guardians of the Black community and help them, and the whole white guilt thing. So it is actually rooted in that it is not based on any type of factual information. If you study the information as far as the ideology that is behind Black Lives Matter and the claims that they make, you actually find that it is absolutely based on things that are not even factual. So in the book, I actually talk about how, the statistics of, let's take, for example, the police brutality that they tout out there as the reason why they believe that there is systemic racism in the United States. That is something that when you actually study it, you find that the Black community, you find that the police actually shoot more white people than they do Black people. And this is statistically true. So the things that they don't want to focus on are the things that actually affect the Black community. And that is things like the education system and the way that the left has destroyed the Black family. And that is what is at the root of why we see so much crime and poverty and all these things that are happening within the Black community. So that's not what they want to focus on, because they are the reason why those things have happened. It's their policies that have led to those types of things happening in the Black community. So instead of addressing those core issues, they just gloss it over with, oh, it's just systemic racism. So I always say that systemic racism doesn't exist in the United States, because somebody like me couldn't come here and become successful as I did if there was an oppressive hand that only benefited white people. But what I do say is that there is a party in the United States, which is the Democrat Party, one of the two major parties, that has systemically targeted the Black community. And they have used the Black community to create plight that they can then weaponize against the country in a cultural Marxist way. So that's what we're seeing right now. So the reason why I'd written the book was just to show how this information that they're giving out, that there's systemic racism in the United States, this is information that is being weaponized in a cultural Marxist way to divide and conquer America.
Are you thinking about clinking away? Don't click away. The whole podcast is over on lancewallnell.com/podcast. Go download the whole thing. Go there. They're there every day.
Yeah, I was thinking about clicking away, but then I forgot you was in control.
Okay, so yeah, that's there's video number one, fam. So as we like to say around here, panel, y'all have at it.
Well, we see the dangers of relaxing your hair and wearing weave. Your brain just becomes mush. Okay.
You know what, man? If she can't even acknowledge that colonialism had lasting effects on her country, you know somebody then got to her, in some kind of way. And just because she may have been able to succeed to a certain extent, and this is always the same rhetoric with these people when they come from other countries, and they're able to thrive or be successful, is always, oh, there must be something wrong with them, but they're not acknowledging the lasting effects of slavery. They're not acknowledging the things that happen that affect us today. You coming here and being able to get a grant, because there's no way any one of us, we're pretty intelligent. We walk out of the door with $300, and then all of a sudden you can just go to college. You got here on $300, and then what happened? Tell the whole story. You got grants, you got all kinds of assistance, right? Because they're willing to help you, so you can say, I'm not one of them, so you can come straight from the continent and act like, you're not like us. But all skin folk, ain't kin folk. Some people with the same color, it don't mean that we all the same. The Egyptians look like us, and look what they did. Well, I can't even say the Egyptians, but the vast majority of the people on the planet were people of color, even when we were suffering at the hands of others. So I'm not surprised that she said it. It is really vexing, though, that they're using these talking points of critical race theory. And I looked at what is critical race theory, and I looked it up, and I think you did this before, but I looked it up, and it says learning for justice. This might be just their critique on what it is, but it says, as of July 2021, 26 states have proposed legislation. No, whatever. Oh, here it is. Critical race theory. Critical race theory, or CRT, is a school of thought that explores and critiques American history, society, and institutions of power, including government and legal systems, from a race-based perspective. Right? All right, so just based off of that, everybody should critique where they live according to who they are and where they their race, because it's obvious that people are treated differently. Our people were put in the ghettos and redlined and denied loans and denied jobs. Our people had our communities flooded with drugs and guns, right? Our communities were shot up with diseases, and our communities were genocided through all these means, including Planned Parenthood, because of who we are. So
Targeted.
Targeted because of who we are. So of course we should, critique society according to who we are. What we supposed to just not acknowledge who we are and continue to suffer? And this is not a new thing that we've been talking about. We've been talking about this since we've been here, of our treatment in this place. It's not nothing new. So she acting like it's new. That's garbage. They've been treating us like this.
But
they
the
just
funny
gave
thing,
it a name now. Critical race theory. Now they gave it a name.
The funny thing is that CRT, it actually stands for also something that is familiar. If you're familiar with television, you have a cathode ray tube within the television that's telling you a vision. And that cathode ray tube has to deal with color. Interesting.
Yeah, I never looked at that tie-in. That's bomb.
My junk is CRT. Crack is wrong, and they know it.
You brothers chime in. I mean, it's
Okay.
open
I want to
mic,
chime
open
in.
season. You matter of fact, let's do this. Let's make it so that when brothers make a point, other brothers can chime in, right? So you brothers go ahead and chime in and have at it. I'm
You
not
know
saying
what?
nothing about it.
I'm gonna
Have at
come
it.
from a different angle. Can y'all hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we
Okay.
hear you, bro.
I'm gonna just come from a different angle because we can all tear this apart. But that is what I observed was that is a side effect of Christianity. What I mean by that is Christianity makes you forget the plight of others. And as long as I'm doing okay, then everybody else is doing something wrong. God is on my side, but you know what I'm saying? So and that's because that's the biggest problem with our people. And also that zigzag, you get the zigzag complex or the white JC complex. We literally sat here watching her worship Zaddy. And I'm done because
Don't be done. Don't be done. Hal, Kadar, Ibri, all you brothers, jump on in. I know
Yeah.
y'all got something to say about it.
Yeah, like Brother Yash was saying, it's an effect of Christianity, and I totally agree with that. One other thing that constantly bothers me, and I'm just gonna say it. This idea that colonialism of African countries has been dealt with, and that idea is just straight up ridiculous. Like, every single country, including the one that claims it's never been colonialized, Ethiopia, has been colonialized. White supremacy drew the lines. They drew your borders. They totally controlled everything about Africa. And when you guys plummet into famine and disease and pestilence and inflation, like she was talking about in Zimbabwe, that's when they leave you alone. And when you quote unquote pick yourself up by your bootstraps, that's when they come back. They control everything about your country. You left Zimbabwe to come to the United States. Why? Because you see a better life in the United States for you. So you already see quote unquote Black Americans in America as doing better than you, or you wouldn't come here. Like, this idea is totally ridiculous. That if your country's so good, stay there. Certainly no quote unquote Black Americans are asking you to come to America. We're certainly not doing that. So stay where you are. Stay where you are. If white supremacy is not controlling the world, then you should be able to do just as well as you did in America and Zimbabwe. Stay where you are.
Not only that, go ahead, come to America, get your education, get your money, all that stuff, and then go back to your country and improve those circumstances.
Exactly. The point being, white supremacy has colonized and taken over the world. And if you are able to make $1, good for you. It doesn't mean that everybody else who looks like you, everybody else around you is able to do the same. And that's just an odd outlook. a crazy outlook on what America is, on what colonialism in Africa is, on what the state of white supremacy in the world is. It's just a total bogus look at life.
Well, let's use the fish in the net analogy, because just because you cast out a net, you're not going to catch all the fish. Some fish are going to get away. So that's just the same thing with what you say with colonialism. Some fish are going to get away out of the net. Some are going to make it. Some ain't going to make it. But the thing we have to look at when we look at the word colonial, the word that's in that word is colon, which is part of your excrement system. So whenever I see the word colonial or colonialism, I automatically look at that as me or people being excremented on, which is actually what they do. They strip you of your resources and make you a debt slave, period. But I think the most horrible thing within her critique is saying that more white people are shot than black people.
Yeah,
I'm sure them white people was armed, okay, and the black people, unfortunately, we see it is getting shot is unarmed. So that's a clear difference and a distinction.
but that's altogether a lie anyway. You can look up the crime statistics of 2021, and you can see who was committing the majority of crimes. But she has a failure to acknowledge the circumstances of her people over in Africa and the people over here. And it's just like the brother Howard was saying, if it's so good, if you're so much better than the people over here, or then why did you come here in the first place? So she's not acknowledging the collective circumstances or the individual circumstances that people are going through. And not only that, colonialism had a lasting effect in her country, to the point that even if you go over there now and you look at how the Edomites are living, or whatever you want to call them, right? The whites, right? You look at how they're living versus the natives of the country, right? And it is a stark contrast between the two. You got to ask yourself, why are they living like this and these people living like that? Did colonialism have anything to do with that? Did the transfer of wealth have anything to do with that? See, people don't acknowledge the transfer of wealth. People don't acknowledge it when it comes to our people. When it's our people that's been robbed and spoiled, right? Then it's not, all of a sudden, you are supposed to be able to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. But if it's on the other end, and they've got nothing, then they looking around to who owed them. And it's natural that you would look to who owe you. Just like when we did, remember the second Exodus video, the second one, the great substance, brother? And we was it the second? It was the third one. Speaking on the great substance, it's a common courtesy for an Israelite to say, yo, pay me what you owe me before we leave captivity. That's natural. All right. My forefathers worked here. I've worked here. You taxed me, and you already owe me because you sold my great grandfather on an auction block to create Jackson Hewitt and all these other banks, right? So where's my cut of that? Where's my cut of the stock market? Oh, I am the stock market, right? Because my social security number running through there, and you getting paid off of that, right? But nobody wants to acknowledge these things unless it's them. But they don't want to acknowledge it when they look like us on this panel. They don't want to acknowledge that.
It's like the pig going and asking for they cut of the pig bellies, And I'm gonna be honest, man. It's obvious that she's mimicking Candace Owens in a lot of ways, talking points and everything. But I'm gonna just be honest though. Looking at the video, this is how I am when I look at Black women speaking. If I hear or see any indication of them representing white supremacy or speaking their talking points, I go blank, bro. I don't hear nothing they say. And that's what happened in that video with me just now. Y'all pretty much touched on everything. You know?
Well, you hit it on the nail. I was trying to figure out who she was reminding me of when you hit it, Candace Owens. But see, this is the whole thing with me bringing out earlier that India, which is a word that is associated with sub-Saharan Africa, actually, if you don't know that you are the Indian, if you don't know whether it's east, west, north, or south, Indian, you are the people, period. So if you don't, and we got to remember, she obviously had colonial instructions in growing up and went to school with the white facing school curriculum. So obviously she doesn't know who she is. So that's the problem. When we don't know who we are, when we become subject to their brainwashing, we that's how you act. That's who you are.
I just want to say one more thing on the topic, Brother Cleo, and then I'll give it back to you. There's also this belief that because quote unquote Black Americans have been so oppressed and we are so economically poor, that the best thing that can happen to us is that we get some money. And that is not the best thing that happens. We want reparations as a whole, yes, but that is not all we're looking for. You can give us all the money that you want to give us and keep us in America. We still don't have any power. Mitch McConnell said it himself, right? He said, we gave you Barack Obama. And they did. They gave us Barack Obama. They allowed a quote unquote Black man to be the president of the United States and told us, there's your power. And we still didn't have anything. So yeah, we can have our Oprah Winfrey's, we can have our, our great football players, our great basketball players who make millions of dollars a year, whatever. We don't have any power. And that's part of what is missing here. That's what people don't understand. It's not all about getting a house and a car.
Let me push back a little bit on that Barack Obama. They didn't give us Barack Obama. They gave us George Bush. George Bush made Barack Obama possible because they said, hey, that dude messed everything up. Hopefully this Black dude can pull us out of everything he just screwed up.
Your brother Kadar.
Hey, shalom. I was trying to get a word in. Shalom, you brothers. Glad to see y'all on. Shalom to the chat. Hey, I don't know who the brother is, but I totally disagree with him that we are Indians. I mean, the Most High gave us a name, Israel, and a land do not make a people a name, because in that case we would be African Americans. But anyway, getting back to the video here, this is something that I think we need to get more in depth with, especially when we're talking about the spirit. Ephesians 6:12, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places. This is what we are battling. So somebody, even in Israel, could see this lady and how she talked, and they could even get into her mindset, just like Candace Owens. Whatever happened to her, she was on Democratic side. Republicans got a hold to her. So we like a pinball machine, and all they want to do is use us for votes. I mean, it's crazy. But we see the principalities is playing its game again within her, and actually it's already got her. But we as Israelites, we know better to even trust either side, Democrats or Republicans. Yes, some people can see some good here, some good there. But it's just like in the time of Hamashiach walked the earth, you see Greeks and Romans. If you go back, you're going to see Babylonians and Persian Medes. we always in the middle, and we always fighting these principalities with words and with deceitfulness. And I think that's what's going on here. And she is totally lost. And like Brother Banyal said, she might not even be an Israelite at all. So
all praise to the Most High. I wanted to say something else, and I'm glad the brother Kadar brought us back to the word of the Most High, because brother Cleo, the first scripture that you brought out, positions of no value, right? The second verse after that is really a hard hitter too, because the Most High in effect actually tell them to shut up, right? He says the Most High
Hold on a
says,
second, bro. Hold on a second, bro. You gotta share your screen and
all
bring
right,
it up
I will share my
so that the fan can see it. Because them is
absolutely.
well, the whole book is my favorite, but I like throwing these at people because your mouth do need to be stopped. But they are
Hmm.
physicians of no value. But anyway, go ahead and read, bro.
Absolutely. All right, so yeah, and I was like, yeah, the brother, bro. I was like, yo, why he ain't read the rest of it? Because you know, when you bring this up a lot, and when you bring it up, I'll be like, oh yeah, yeah. But like we hit him off with this one too, right? So can everybody see it?
Yep.
So in Job 13:4 it says, but ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. And then the Most High says, oh, that ye would altogether hold your peace, and it should be your wisdom. So the Most High telling you, it'd be wise if you just shut up, you know, if you stop talking, you know, because a lot of times these people, they run in their mouth, and everything that they saying is just philosophy. And we know that the scriptures say, beware lest any man spoil you through vain philosophy and deceit after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Mashiach. So people can philosophize all they want, but the word of the Most High condemns every word that come out of their mouth if it ain't according to what's written, you know.
Amen. Amen, Brother Banya.
Okay, so brother, since you went there, I wasn't trying to be too hard on him. I was trying to be soft with him, which that's not my nature. Go to Titus 1:11, and then we gonna move a little, try to move a little bit forward. Although we could stay here if we want to. Bring up Titus
Titus
11.
1.
If you don't got it, I'll share my screen.
I'll grab it real quick.
Okay, and then throw it up, and then go ahead and read that, and see how that precept with what you just read, because Lance Walnu and all these physicians of no value, these white evangelical, they all liars and they don't know the book.
Amen.
Every single one of them is liars.
Every
John
single
Hagee,
one
he
of
a
them.
liar. All of them. Lance Walnu is a bald faced liar. And notice we framed this Psalms 83, and I asked the question earlier. You have two different nations, two different people. You have a Hamite. She's clearly says she's where she's from, and I don't know if she's a person of Israel or not, right? But just on face value, she's a Hamite because she claims Zimbabwe, a carved out nation that was carved out for them, like my brother Hal brought up. You were drawn in to be a Zimbabwean because that's not your nation. That's not who you were to begin with. So go ahead and bring me those precepts, bro. Titus
Can
1
you,
and 11.
can you see it?
Yep.
All right. So it says, I'll start at 10. It says, for there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers.
Stop right there. Vain talkers and deceivers. Anybody that's in Christianity, anybody that's talking about the rapture, any white evangelical, this is you right here.
And then it says, especially they of the circumcision. Right. So that's talking about not only heathens, it's talking about our own people,
Christian.
talking vain and being deceitful. Right. It says, whose mouth must be stopped, who subvert whole households, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake. Hold on, let's see what that lucre is.
Uh-oh. You going in?
Let's see what lucre is, just to give a little bit more context to the brothers and sisters here. All right, for filthy lucre. Now, I told you why I love this ISO. You got filthy, and then you got lucre right here, right? No, that's filthy. So which one is lucre? Uh, Here it is. All right, so it says of certain affinity gain, what did I say? Pecuniary,
Pecuniary or general.
pecuniary, or generally gain lucre, right? So for money, basically for wealth, for profits, they're teaching these things, they're saying these things, and I guarantee there's a bag involved with this sister or whoever she is, if she a sister or not. I guarantee you, there's a bag in there for her. There's a bag in it for you to come on and say some stuff like that, you know, about colonialism, about, all these things about us. There's a bag involved. Nobody would you know, people sacrifice their dignity for anything sometimes, you know. They sacrifice their dignity for anything, you know.
And something else, bro. Another thing that sort of bothers me is you'll have our own people, and some people might say she might not be an Israelite, but to me it's clear that she is, and she comes from that continent. And it disturbs me when you see our own people make those kind of statements, but then you'll see people of our enemies who will blatantly admit the systematic racism and the things that have held people down. I'm looking at a documentary this morning about that. So it's kind of disturbing to see our people being what they call gatekeepers of our own people. Right now, to this day, Africa is divided up. Now you got China coming in the back door. You want to deny all of that to be spiritual. And that just shows you that what we've been showing, that this is just another means for them to, like Brother Bunya been saying, absolve themselves and also uphold their position over everybody in the earth, particularly us.
Well, you mentioned absolve themselves, and that's what Lance is attempting to do for his audience. He's attempting to, and see, this is where people miss the point. Just because you have some black talking head, so-called black talking head saying something, that doesn't mean it's going to absolve you from the penalty that you must pay. Right? He that leadeth into captivity must go into captivity. Whether Candace Owens said they was led into captivity or not, that's irrelevant. But anyway, I don't want to say much. I want you brothers to speak on the situation. So, what do you guys think about? Because the idea that, if you guys look at the screen, I'm sharing my screen right now, and I was supposed to start with this, but we're going to go back to this Psalms 83, and I'm going to read it. Keep not thou silence, O Father, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Father, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no longer in remembrance. Verse 5, they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. So the question that I asked earlier, now I can ask again, because you'll have, and if she's saying she's from Zimbabwe, I'm going to take that at face value. But I noticed that he's using someone from Africa that came here, and he's using someone that prospered. Well, just because you have one person prosper, that doesn't negate all the wickedness you've done for the last 400 years. Just because Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James, Oprah Winfrey, the brother who owns me and my wife were just talking about him, and I can't call his name. The brother that owns all these broadcasting networks and whatnot, these TV shows, Allen. Just because they've prospered, what have you done to these people that have been here since they've been here? How have you been kicking them in the neck and stepping on their back? So Okay, so do you brothers want to continue to?
Well, I got a question.
Go
I
ahead.
got a question. If Zimbabwe that's part of South Africa, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you notice she said whites and blacks lived in harmony. Yeah, right. We know, of course, 17, if I'm not mistaken, I'll get my dates right, 1789 to 1795, of course, of 5 wars when they beat the Zulus, the British did. And they actually went through the same stuff that we went through over here during the time of Jim Crow. So how in the world they lived in harmony? So we know that's a lie there. We know, according like what you was reading, Psalms 83, getting to that, is that they did it 2 different ways. They said we're going to take the remembrance of Israel, how? Through slavery, and telling us, we separating the children and the parents. They did it that way, and then with the child of slavery with these nations. And if you look in history, you can find every last one of them having us in slavery. That's crazy. But anyway, also they doing that now through word of mouth and deceitfulness. That's why when I went to Ephesians 6, where I was talking about the principalities and illusions of Christianity and in Islam and these other religions and in politics. This is crazy.
You know what? As you talk about where she from and what she looks like, I think one of the big questions that we should have asked is why? Why do they got her on there? And I believe it's to catch up, not to catch up, but to spread a net for those that look like us also to start gravitating to that type of mindset. There's people in our community and in abroad that be having that type of thought process, but they won't necessarily come out with it unless they have someone to really join in unison with them in that thought that our people's situation is only because of what we're doing to each other now, and that everything that happened earlier in history didn't have a lasting effect, and ultimately that white people are better than us. Basically, that's what she's saying. She's saying that these people are better than y'all. You want to blame them for your situation. Well, how come I'm not going through that? I'm not going through that because look, I rose up and I act like them, and I conduct myself like them, and this is the reason why you can't get where you need to get to. This is why your community can't get to where they need to get to, because you're not acting like the white person. Stop being the white person. Stop being black. It's all about Jesus. If you follow Jesus, you being black doesn't matter. Just act like white people, and then you can get to where you need to get to. And then there's people that got that thought process, man. That's why they use these talking heads, so they can influence those of our people who may want to gravitate that way. They're spreading the net.
But that everything that she described happened with Zimbabwe over time is the same thing that's happening here, and that's what he said in the video.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all just one big finesse. Mm-hmm. There was a time when black people and white people got along here, and now you have more of our people gravitating to them, holding on, while the system is declining. So it's the same thing.
Well, the whole thing is that she's trying to point. That's something I didn't like either. She's trying to paint Zimbabwe as having a Marxist government. At what time I believe that was a French colony or English colony, one of the two. So when was it Marxist? That's,
Well, but one of the phraseologies that they use against us is that we are Marxists, and that's part of the tie-in. They'll use terms. The now terms are like woke, wokeism, and believe it or not, to a certain extent, when they say Black Hebrew Israelite. So these are phrases that they use to identify, and it's coded in their mind that identifies so-called Black people. So here's one thing that I'm going to give her credit for, and I really didn't want to speak on it. I just want to let you guys rock out. You guys did a great job. I appreciate that. The idea that she's obviously a Republican, right? And the thing she said about the Democrats was actually pointed, because most of us, not me, I registered Republican when I was 18 and maybe voted once and haven't voted since, because I've understood that what I understood, right? But that's neither here nor there. But the idea that she talked about the Democrats and she threw them under the bus. Now, we understand that here we don't play the Republican Democrat game, because if you're a Republican, you part of the evil right, and if you're a Democrat, your wing is the evil left, so that you just created one evil eagle that is not for Israel's turn. So unless brothers got something to add to the discussion that we've had so far, I want to make the point too that Lance Wall knew on record he's a physician of no value. He's not even a physician of value to his people, because he's leading his people down the path of ruin. His mouth need to be stopped. Matter of fact, all white evangelicals' mouth need to be stopped, because they're not telling the truth and they don't know the book. Now, I got another video that I'm about to show. I don't know if I'm going to play all of this, but there's a certain point it's going to get to, and I don't know if I should find that certain point or if I just let them play. But this is them and their eschatology, right? And so I don't know which one I should play first. Should I play this one or should I play that wicked entity John Hagee?
No, not John Hagee.
Yeah,
Well,
let's go John Hagee. Since you
just
said no, not John Hagee, we go John Hagee. Now, John Hagee is talking about, this was done September 21st. He talking about the rapture and the second coming of Mashiach, right? So let's hear his eschatology, and then you guys.
before you go to that, I just want to add that neither party is going to do anything about racism. So that's the reason why neither party is for us, is because neither of them are going to dismantle racism, period. So
I don't have a problem with racism.
Me either.
I had a problem with white supremacy. Them trying to be supreme over. It's nothing wrong with them choosing each other and uplifting each other and loving each other. That's why I plan on doing for my people. I think we should all do that for each other, for our own people.
Amen to that.
And stop looking to other people to be helping and loving us.
And you know, Brother Bunyard, that's another thing that they deceived us on. When we hear racism, we get triggered, but they understand the true concept of it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. We think it's them hating us and us hating them. You know, that's just one small aspect of it, especially when you have the power to instill those things. But they got us lost on that.
You know what though, man? I don't even think it's like a hate thing, because the thing is this: if you choose your people and you want to grow your people and your people to be the only beneficiaries to whatever you're doing that's growing, y'all. If somebody come out of nowhere and they not a part of your people, you have the right to say, no, I don't want to help you. No, you ain't like us. No, I don't want you benefiting from us. You got the right to do that. You know, that's how nations preserve each other. You know, but because we don't got nothing, because our people were brought here as slaves, and then we ain't have anything. That left us with no choice but to say we need help to them, because they never fulfilled their promise of what they said they was going to give us when they let us go. If they had and they still don't want to fulfill it, because it's not even about giving us something that they just don't want to give it. They're afraid of how it's going to benefit us. They're afraid maybe they might leave. They, they like the best analogy I can compare it to is an abusive person. They want you around so they can abuse you, but they also want you around for a benefit. You know, they want to keep you around and they don't want to let you go. Why? Because if you leave, then they force to face themselves and deal with the ugliness that they are. Put them in a situation that we've been in for all this time, and they would have been destroyed each other. That's why I can't wait to leave this place, because it's going to turn up on itself. You know, you don't even got to be here. We don't got to do nothing to these people. Leave them alone. They'll kill each other.
And
They
check this
destroy
out.
each other.
One more thing. A lot of people say that we can't be racist because we don't have no power. And I see the contrary. I believe that the power is in choosing us first. That's what the commandment is. You know, we have to choose that power within ourselves, and we can do that no matter where we are. We can love the Most High with all our heart, and we can love our people. We can love our neighbors as ourselves. But I understand that at the same time. That's why when you look at ancient Egypt, the Most High told Moses to tell Pharaoh to let my people go so that they can serve me in the wilderness. And upon coming out, they had to bring all their substance with them. And so it's a twofold thing. You know, we have to decide that within ourselves to be in agreement with coming together under the same constitution, which is the laws, the LSC. But you know, that's the same thing that other nations do. They just choose each other first, and that's where the power is.
You know what I wonder a lot, and I know we got to get to this next video, but I wonder a lot when we go into the wilderness, what it's going to be like, because when we left to ourselves, there's going to be individuals who still want to have that certain mindset, and I'm wondering how ugly will it have to get, because look, we can't continue to bring the spirit that so many of us had over here, and the hatred that we had towards each other over here, into the wilderness. We can't do it. We can't have people who want to exploit our sisters and our brothers for their own personal gains. We can't have people who are going to be disobedient to the Most High and cause us all to fall, because it didn't take all of Israel, to be disobedient to the Most High for him to do this to all of us. Right. So it's just like, sometimes I wonder where some level of ugliness might be required in order to purge people out from among us.
Well, I like to add this to the we can't misdefine terminologies. This is a problem. I will suggest us to read Neely Fuller's book, The United Independent Compensatory Code System and Concept Textbook for Counter-Racist Code. And he goes into a lot. He worked with Francis Cress Welsing. But racism is an institutionalized system that is set up in the institution, the structures of the society. So we have to realize what terms mean and what they are defined at.
But it's the same thing with our Constitution. It's all to benefit us when you really look at it and break it down. So all they've done is just turned us away from understanding that. Put all these big terminologies behind it and everything when it's just simple.
Let's ask this question: If you removed us from them, would they have any racism? And we removed us from them. Will we have racism amongst each other? And I'm not just talking about just removing all of us. I'm talking about removing all of us that has that mannerism of looking at our people in the way they look at us. Will we have racism then?
Well, the first problem is that we're trying to look. Basically, most people think of Black people as a monolithic group, which we're not. We we're even on the continent. They're not monolithic. You have various ethnic groups and different cultural identities. So just as we would see with them, not all of them are the same color pale. Some of them are very pale toward pink. Some of them are a little bit lesser pale than pink. So just like you have on the continent, you have some of us that are various shades of Black. So, like I said, then you'll have a cultural difference with even in their groups.
Yeah,
So,
but here's the thing. What I'm asking is, would there be racism amongst them? Would it be denial of jobs or anything like that based off of the way, are they gonna look at each other? Oh, he got blue eyes, so I don't want to hire him, or he got blonde hair, so I'm gonna deal with her. Are they gonna do that? Are they gonna deal with the same type of racism? Is it gonna be?
We wouldn't consider that racism. We would consider that just particular phenotypes difference is in because of eye color. So we wouldn't really consider that a race thing. Basically, we generally describe racism today being a color thing, which it's stupid, but
exactly. So that goes to my point that there wouldn't be any racism amongst them.
Not true.
Because there would be racism, I don't believe, but what would happen is you'd have the same thing, them fighting over control of themselves.
Because we see it now. We see it now with the war in Ukraine. They're the same people. The Ukraine war, they're the same people. So we see it now. So
it's more tribalism. But at the same time, Putin and Donald Trump, they both gonna lift up white supremacy. You see what I'm saying? So
that's correct.
So they won't have any racism. They would have tribalism.
They would be fighting.
But tribalism Tribalism is a natural thing amongst all people, just based off of different cultural aspects.
Yeah, but when you say white supremacy, that's all that means is just a white person thinking they're superior. But racism is actually the structure that they use to enact their white supremacy. See? So they're two different concepts. They're not one concept. They're two different concepts. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to point out.
But that's what I'm saying, that there wouldn't be any racism though.
That point is well taken. There would not be. Both of you guys are points are well taken. Number one, racism will be ended because we wouldn't be around. We'll be left to our own devices. We will be able to build accordingly. But then at the same time, there would be tribal wars because, like the brother pointed out, they would be battling like they are battling today. Ukraine and Russia is one war that's going to be many wars that hopefully we get to see like 5 years ago, but that's a different conversation. So I just want Mashiach to come back. And matter of fact, even before Mashiach come back, I want us to get to where we need to get to first, according to prophecy. So unless brothers got anything to add to that.
One more thing. So just to reiterate, the reason why I was saying that is because going back to what me and the brother Eric was saying concerning racism is only perceived amongst someone of a different race. If you got all the people together and they, then that's the situation of being racist.
No, brother, I'm trying to explain to you the racism is actually the structure and the intellectual, that you don't put to invest in the structure of the society where you have it ingrained in the banking system. You have it ingrained in all the social structures. That's what racism is. When it prevents you from being able to enjoy those freedoms in those particular institutions because you have been structurally excluded purposely because of your skin color.
But this is what, but exactly, that's what I'm saying though. That's what I'm saying, and that's what the brother's saying. Racism is not necessarily a bad thing. It's not, because the only reason why, or just what you mentioned, you're not able to get certain jobs and things like that based off your skin color. If you're amongst each other only, there is no racism. How many white people go to a job and whether they're denied a bank loan or whatever by another white person, how many white people say he was being racist towards me?
Or they denied them because of the color of their skin.
Yeah, exactly. They don't get denied, because if they get denied, it's based off of their credit. It's based off of things that would have them get denied. There's not any outside factors, other than their qualifications. You see what I'm saying? So you remove the other race from them, there is no racism. Racism is only perceived by the opposite race.
And it's only necessary in a system where you have a mixed multitude of people.
Exactly.
Well, as we said, they're going to choose something else too, because that's just human nature. They're going to pick out some other thing if it's not the skin color, hair type, phenotype, some other physical thing. So that's just how people are.
So in some cases, I would say, I don't think that word racism was used in Hebrew, but the Most High, you could consider him as being racist. But I don't think it was used in Hebrew. But if you look at the passages like Deuteronomy 7:6, I picked you, choose you to be above all nations. Psalms 147, the 18, 19, 20. He only gave the statutes and the laws to Israel, to Jacob, and Israel, he didn't know anybody else. What's that? The other nations were Isaiah 40 and 17. The other nations are nothing to him. Isaiah 45 and 17. For Israel have an everlasting salvation, world without end. So if we look at in that case, in that way, the Most High, would he be considered racist?
Jacob have I loved, Esau have I
hated? Yeah. Yeah.
We did a thing on that once before, Brother Bunya and I.
Yeah.
Is Elohim racist? Might have to redo that.
Yeah. The only reason why we complain about racism here, because we're really trying to hold them to a standard that they proclaim. They proclaim to be that everybody's equal. They consistently saying that while doing the opposite. Having us here. If people can get that in their mind, that these people do believe that, and not fall into their sweet words, then we can start operating and just dealing with each other.
Hey,
and
brother,
my brother Cleo would say, then we can build something.
Hey, brother Cleo, can you look at Divine C's comment? What he said? Wow. Well, brother, if you go to Romans chapter 9, verse 13, you're going to find out the Most High do hate. Romans chapter 9, verse 17, and also I think it's Malachi 3. So, and the book of Obadiah. So, but the Most High do hate. So you just answered that question for your own self.
We're not more complex than our Creator. If we can hate, He can too.
Most High hate.
See, and this is
he must don't know that scripture.
This is the other thing. All the other nations can choose themselves, and put themselves in a position to benefit and profit. But all of these nations in Psalms 83 have denied us that opportunity. and that possibility of being able to prosper and have land and wealth and all those different things. And then they're using the wealth and everything that we do gain and contribute to give right back to them. How is it that we're the number one consumers? So we can't look at racism, you know, as a thing of just hatred. That's why I said it's not just hatred, you know. They're just using that systematically against us. Each nation, all these people are able to put themselves in a position to, you know, thrive and to move forward. But all of them have denied us that. When you don't even know who you are, how can you even begin to even start to thrive or grow as a people? You know, we're divided on who we are. We're on this channel, we know we Israel. But if you go to another channel, they saying that they indigenous. Go to another channel, they saying that they Egyptians. No other group of people is like that but us, you know. But we know that we Israel on this channel.
You brothers get it all out?
Let me read something, because the brother he posted something else that said, could you post that up for me? The brother
Divine Seed.
Divine Seed, he said the Most High's form of hate is righteous form of hate. He said the Most High's form of hate is righteous judgment. Man's hate is wicked judgment, and that's not always the case. You know, we say these type of things, man, and really, all right, you got to take it on a case by case situation, right? The Most High said we're supposed to have just balances and just weights, right? That means we're supposed to be equal to all people according to His law, statutes, and commandments. Now, if somebody does something to you that's offensive, or somebody kills one of my brothers or anybody in my family, I got more than the right to hate them. I got more than the right for me to hate them and want them to be judged. And according to Psalms 139 and 21, it says right here, he says, now I'll go to 39 and 20. Hold on, let me get it. And I'm not trying to promote hate, but the reality of the situation is this. The Most High, we are not more complex than our Father, all right? The Most High is not less complex than the clay that He formed, right? These emotions, if they're in the right complex, if they're in the right context, then they're applicable, you know? Just like the scripture said, there's a time for everything. Right now, let me get it. Can everybody see the screen? Can everybody see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
All right,
see the screen.
So I'm going to start at 139 and 19. It says, surely thou wouldst slay the wicked, O Elohim. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men, for they speak against thee wickedly, and thy enemies take thy name in vain. Now somebody's talking, and now listen what he said. He said, do I not hate them, O Father, that hate thee? So you supposed to hate those who hate the Most High, right? He says, and am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. All right. So what does that tell you? Is it wrong to hate your enemies? No, it's not wrong to hate your enemies. Who are our enemies? Am I telling you to go out there and hurt anybody? No. But use your discernment and understand that we are surrounded by enemies. We are. You know, and you have to deal with people on a case by case basis on individuals. But as this nation, you know, they're filled with our enemies. This government system, they're our enemies. I hate them. I want the Most High to destroy this place. They would destroy me and my people if they had the chance, and they've been trying to do that, and they have been doing it. So it's not when we got to learn certain things, man. We look at a lot of things that society taught us, like God is all love and God is all the Most High told us to go out there and exterminate Amalek, and we didn't do it. And now look who we got to deal with, stealing our heritage and everything. Most High told us to slay these nations a long time ago, and we didn't do it. Because the Most High knew in his foresight what these people would do. So we got to stop looking at things through the scope of Christianity. Everything's all love and all of that, man. But behind closed doors, they calling you niggas and stuff. Believe me, it's all love and it's all spirituality, and we all the same. But you can go in the bank and can't get a loan, and they come out having worse credit than you and get everything that they need to take care of their family. This nation hates us, and that's the reality that we got to face. That's what we need to wake up from, right? And if this nation hates us, then the only choice we got is to love each other, love the Most High, build together, right? We got to get away from this thing. It's nothing wrong with us hating anybody. There's nothing wrong with that. If they've earned your hatred, but you do that on a case by case basis. But as for this governmental system, this nation as a whole, I hate it.
Right. And I don't believe Brother Bunya is saying, for instance, if you have co-workers on your job, now you all of a sudden start hating them now.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
The Most High is judging the nations, and as far as who he hates personally, that's who he said he hates. We don't have a place in that,
Exactly.
But it's about putting it in perspective and using a righteous balance, a righteous judgment, Like he said, you don't know what these people do in secret or how they really feel about you, and it shouldn't matter, We should be walking in a manner to where the Most High can make them be at peace with us, But we have to be wise at the same time,
Yeah, so my people need to do a thing on that, brother Banya, to really do a show on that, because a lot of people, I just don't want nobody leaving here saying we said go out here and hate everybody.
Listen, man, sort of the earth is like this, man. People come into this room and they receive nothing but love.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Whether they're Israelites or not. You come amongst our people, that's the light that shines within us. All right. But if you come in there and you disrespectful, you gonna get what's coming to you, man, And it's the same way in life. If somebody treats you disrespectful or they do something to you to cause offense or cause you to hate them, then you got every right to hate them.
That's right.
But my people love merchandise.
Hey.
That's why they are merchandise. People love merchandise. That's why they're tied to Babylon.
Is it because they are merchandise?
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. You hit it, bro. You're right.
100, bro.
I said,
I didn't think about it that way, but you pretty much hit it there. Yeah.
I mean, hold up. Now I call y'all liquid money. I call us liquid money. We liquid money. Yeah. Every time somebody sees us, they trying to get every nickel out of us. Everybody see the money in us except for us. Now we'll look at each other and make merchandise out of each other in a minute, right? Like for instance, I'll do a record deal. I'm a record producer. I'm gonna do a record deal with, let me pick one, Hal, because Hal ain't been saying nothing. I'm a record producer. I'm gonna do a record deal with Hal. I'm gonna give Hal 2 cents on his mechanicals while I'll make the other 98 cents on every time it's played, and he only gonna get 2 cents. Did I just make merchandise out of Hal?
You did, no doubt.
It's usury, brother. It's usury.
Yep. Then you got to pay your own recording studio and promotion out of that. So you're gonna end up on Brother Cleo.
That's why the Father gave me the term white supremacy, Christo corpus corporatum. All those terms, we know what white supremacy means. Christo is for Christianity, corpus is for the body, and corporatum is for business. That's the business of making your black body the economic engine that make everything work.
You need to type that up and drop that in the chat so we can show that, have that on record for real. Type that up, please. Drop it in the chat so we can put it up on the screen.
Yeah, I said that was heavy.
Sister Rochelle, she where I'm at with that strawberry shortcake is the best. Yeah, I wish I could eat them all as much as I can.
I disagree, man. Nothing will ever beat a good chocolate cake. Sorry.
I'm with you, Brother Clee.
Hold on, man.
I'm sorry, bro.
You trying to start wars over here, brother?
No, the chat. No, wait a minute. First of all, y'all on the panel all need to get saved because y'all the one that's starting wars with the people in the chat room. Y'all evil. Y'all wicked as hell.
We love Israel.
Check it out, y'all. Brother Shofar, he called us out. Check out what Brother Shofar said.
Uh-oh.
Yo. Let me send a link again.
No,
Brother Shofar.
Hey, look. Brother, that was bad y'all talking. Had nothing to do with
that. Brother Shofar just got off a fast and now he going that turning.
Hey, hold up. But he was on a long fast too. So you know he got some spiritual insight. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not related to none of these brothers on the panel. So when they come and get you, they don't come and get me. I'm not violent.
The link's in the chat, Brother Shofar, if you want to come on in. You know what I mean?
Nah, yeah. We don't, brother. He broke it down. What he's saying with the word. This is a lot of people, even in Israel. When I was in Christianity, you told me God,
you're welcome to come on in too, brother. If you want to chop it up with us.
Yeah, come on.
Everybody's welcome to come on in if you want. You know, use the link, man.
Yeah, that Nat Turner comment was funny. That was funny.
You know, even the Most High said he hated Esau from the womb. Esau said, what about that? So, but a lot of people, when they heard it, where I had this one lady, she was going to school to be where she was in seminary, and I said, God hate. No, he don't. And I took her to the scripture. She said I was twisted scripture. She read it, but she said I twisted. I don't know how I twisted, but she read the same thing I read. I think it's just a lot of people, coming out of Christianity. Like when I was in Christianity, you told me God, hey, I'd be mad. No, he don't. You crazy.
Hey, we have many passages showing where it says that the Most High don't deliver the wicked.
What was the reason?
You know what I say? Go ahead, brother.
There's a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of different things. Like I was watching this one video and the brother was talking about how those who are understanding Israelites they're brainwashed and that they got presuppositions. And I'm like, if there's any brainwashing and presuppositions, it's from Christianity, because the majority of Israelites came out of Christianity, and they're really trying to get to a real understanding of the book, But it's crazy how there's a lot of different things that's said that aren't actually factual. Like when it says all our righteousness is as filthy rags. The context and who he was talking to, the audience of who you're talking to, these things matter. Because on one hand, the scripture says if we keep his commandments, it'll be our righteousness, right? So which one is it? If we keep his commandments, is it our righteousness, or is our righteousness as filthy rags? Which one is it? So you got to look at the context, and you got to look at the audience and what was happening at that time, you know, before you start applying certain things, you know. And we do that a lot, man, and we deprive ourselves of the ability to serve the Most High correctly, you know. If we always look at, like Mashiach said, let this mind be in you, which is also in Mashiach, who being in the form of the Most High thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High, meaning the same mannerisms the Father have, you supposed to have. Righteousness. You're supposed to believe you can do things. So to go to the Father and pray about it and then execute it. You know? That's that, you know, we have the ability to achieve whatever we want. With two or more gathered in his name, there he is in the midst of us. If he's for you, who can be against you? Right? So, you know, it's we falling away from the Most High, our Father. If our Father give us the permission to do anything, it can come to pass. The Most High tell us to gather ourselves together. He tell us to stand up. He tell us we his battle axe. He tell us all these things, but we try to do it within our own selves. We not going to the Most High. We need to go to the Most High first and then execute.
Yeah.
You know?
Notice how y'all just rocked all the way out, and I know why. I get it now. Y'all are racist against the heathen. Y'all don't want to hear nothing from the heathen. I see y'all though. Every one of y'all on this chat. Y'all want to rock out because y'all do not want to hear the heathen. Well, guess what? We don't have to play the heathen. We don't have to listen to them, but they are definitely physicians of no value. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go right back to back to back. We're not going to stop unless you guys say, hey, stop that, Brother Cleo. I want to say something, but I got 3 videos I'm going to play, and I'm going to play them back to back to back. Now, here's the thing.
Hold on. Before you do, too, bro, when you get done, I want you to answer this brother question. I want you to respond to that.
Okay, so let's see, LaShawn Wolford. If we get reparations, we need to start our own black communities and create our own black Wall Street. This way, our money will circulate and stay in the black community. I agree with that, but the planning should be in very strategic, right? So here's what I will give you. Anything that you do when it comes to building something, it should be with the idea that if you're building it here, it's temporary. And then whatever you're building, you should be able to take it somewhere else, right? Because we don't know what the shelf life is going to be on the snakes, aka America, KKK, America, daughter of Babylon, Babylon, whatever you want to call her. We call her daughter of Babylon because that's what she is according to the book, right? So whatever you're going to build or whatever you think you're going to build, make sure that you're getting with like-minded people. And then you need to be prepared to have whatever those businesses, products, or services are. You should be able to take them, whether it be Indonesia, whether it be Asia, whether it be Antarctica, whether it be outside of Antarctica, whether it be on the continent, whether it be in the so-called Middle East. So you do want to be able to build with your reparations, but you want to be able to build here, but then make sure that you're able to move and take that same intellectual property elsewhere, because that's your intellectual property that you have, if that makes sense. So we're in agreement with you, LaShawn Wolford, and hopefully in the very near future we'll be able to do, whether we see reparations or not, but it's our goal to be able to build some things, whatever those things are, with the family, right? So hope I answered that question appropriately, bro.
Well, see, the problem we have as well is that capitalism. We have to know what the definition of capitalism. Capitalism is the system where I have to exploit the worker by paying them as less as possible in order to reap the benefits for the most money that I can by not only destroying the land, but as I said earlier, you're destroying the people as well. So to think that we're going to see anything different out of this particular, like I said, this is a system. I call it the beast system. My white supremacy, Christo Corpus Corporatum, that's the beast system. That's capitalism. Nothing is going to move or be changed until that system is destroyed. And the only one that's going to destroy it is the Father. Nobody else can destroy this system but him. Because within that paradigm, even if black people get money, we're going to use those same obstacles on our own people, which we already see us doing. Those who have money with the bourgeoisie and all, we see those things happen already within this system where we take advantage of our own people. So,
Yes, that's right. You right about that, Brother L.
Making merchandise out of your own people, basically. You look at your brother and say, okay, what can I look at my brother with a hateful eye, like I'm a heathen. I look at him sideways and say, okay, what can I beat this brother out of? What can I take from him? Or if I get in business with him, how can I fix it so that we use all his IPs and he get nothing? No different. No different at all. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and here's what I'm gonna do. If you brothers on the panel want to stop the video, I'm not gonna play the whole video on all three. One's 55 minutes. I got a little snippet that I want to play in there. Then we're not gonna go to John Hagee first. We'll go to John Hagee second because the title of this video is the Psalms 83 and Physicians of No Value. The white evangelicals of this world are physicians of no value. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and we're gonna start with this person called, I forget this person's name, but you guys are recognizing when you see him. He's one of their Robin Bullock. He's one of their big time. Now the people that I'm showing are big time now to white people. They're not like a me where I'm a nobody. Maybe 10 people know me. No, these people are world renowned, right? And this is some of the stuff that's coming out of their mouth this day in 2021 and 2022. So I'm gonna share my screen.
I think we should rename John Hagee Porky Pig because that's what he looks like.
He's definitely related to him. If that's not his brother, that's his cousin. So hopefully y'all can see my screen. I'm gonna go ahead and expand that. We're gonna click that twice. And we're gonna get that out of the way. Hold on a second, fam. Let me get this up. Okay, so this first one is Robin Bullock, right? I'm gonna rewind that. Let me hide that. I'm gonna go back a little. We're gonna listen to a few minutes of this Robin Bullock person, right? I'm about right there. Let's go ahead and play that.
They're mountain men, rough guys. And these other ones looked at them and said, these guys are different than us. What's wrong with them? And someone said, oh, they're Hoosiers. And that's where Indiana got that name. Was from a black preacher. Hallelujah! That just gets all over me. And they begin to wake up. And they woke up to these things. And you had Jonathan Edwards preaching. You had Whitfield preaching. You had the Wesley boys writing, Charles Wesley writing the hymns and all of that. You had John Wesley preaching. You had all these people waking people up to the deity of the Lord Jesus Christ and who he was. And all the colonies were formed. There wasn't 13 colonies. There were 13 nations. They all considered themselves independent countries. And it wasn't in that you start getting into stuff like this and people don't have a clue what they're talking about because the narratives have been changed in schools. They're not telling you history. They're telling you what they want you to hear. And all the independent colonies were formed out of people fleeing religious persecution. This is all before the Revolutionary War. And you had people that, like the Puritans and all, that went up into New England and all of that and were escaping. And when Islamic slave traders brought the slaves up into that part of the country, they took the slave traders and locked them up and set everybody free. You won't hear about that. I may have the country wrong, or it's a state now, but I believe in Massachusetts. Maybe some of you can fact check me on that. I'm not one of these people that if you tell me you got the wrong state, I'll say, okay, then tell me what the state is. I'm not a scholar, but I think up in that, in one of the states up in there, it might have been Massachusetts, it wasn't even legal to have slave trade. And black people held office elected to it. He said, man, Thomas Jefferson had slaves. Yes, but you know what? In Virginia, it was against the law for him to free them. So George Washington found the loophole. He found in Virginia law that when you're dead, you can free them. So on his deathbed, he called for a piece of paper and freed all of them. It shows you their heart. They never wanted this. Thus the reasons it was preached. And the Declaration of Independence came from a minister's sermon. We hold these truths to be sacred. That all men were created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Certain rights that God put in your DNA that no one can take away from you. You don't have freedom. Listen to me. You don't have freedom because your government says you have freedom.
Can we freeze it right there? Freeze it right there.
God gave.
Yeah, I was actually ready to stop. Go ahead, bro. Rock out.
That's the lie right there, because it only applied if you was a white male and a landowner. Well, some of our free blacks were considered white during that time as well, but you was a landowner and a male, so everybody didn't have inalienable rights.
Right. He told a bunch of lies in that little small snippet there, which is why I wanted to bring that out, because of the fact that him saying, first of all, Islamic traders brought us to, and he's talking about the diaspora to the Americas, right? And so last time I checked, the Fuse was in control of the slave trade, not the Islamics. So he's a liar. That's one of the lies he told. And so you brothers can, since we stopped the video, you brothers can have at it.
His whole makeup as well looks awfully scary to me. He looks like he's kind of satanic in his look.
Yeah, that's all I was ready to say. He lying on his look. Looking like the zigzag man.
This is one of their top dudes right now.
Dude look like he been dead for 3 days.
For real.
Yeah, when I heard what he talking about, their heart was in the right place and all this. Now let me tell you, I used to deliver deliver wine to George Washington's house. Man, them people's hearts weren't thinking about us. This guy's lying out of his teeth. And I see even when you have archaeologists, when they doing like a research in Egypt, and they'll say the Egyptians was black, and they'll say when Napoleon came and they knocked off all the noses of the Egyptians, they'll stand up for their people. Well, we can't get into the hearts and see why they done that. We know why they done that. Come on, man. So this guy right here is a piece of mess.
I want to add, because I did share the book with you from Lee Cummings' book, his 7th book. George Washington was a Huguenot on his grandfather's side, great-great-grandfather's side. So as we always see, we always have our people involved somewhere in the mistreatment of us further down the line.
And the liar said that they never wanted this. That connects with what you're saying. As far as them saying that all men are created equal, if they truly believe that, why is it still on the books that we 3/5 of a man?
Exactly. They never even took that off the books. You know what I'm saying?
Why hasn't Dred Scott been changed?
That's
I
something.
wanted to
That's
know
something.
kind of have. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Brother Hal, rock out, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. What I was going to say is that he said something about Thomas Jefferson, right, who was a lawmaker in his time, not wanting or not being able to rather free slaves because it was against the law. Well, Thomas Jefferson was one of the greatest lawmakers in the United States. And if you look back, you never see him even trying, giving any attempt to abolish slavery, whether it was in the state he was in or whether it was in all of the states. So the idea that he freed slaves on his deathbed does not alleviate him of his responsibility, right? To say, okay, all men are created equally. If he actually had that belief, well, why did he wait till his deathbed to free his slaves? I mean, this guy is standing up on a pulpit, actually preaching doctrine, preaching white supremacist doctrine. And, this is Christianity. This is the doctrine of Christianity. This is what they want you to believe. They want to alleviate themselves of any responsibility of what they did to the people of Yah. And that's what it's all about to me. They don't want any responsibility. They don't want to feel any pain. They don't want to feel any guilt. They don't want their children to have to pay for what they did. And that's just not going to happen. That's all.
I was wondering, where does a freed slave go in a time like that? During that time, where would a free slave go? Like, because here's the thing: even though you was a slave, you was someone property, so you was somewhat protected, somewhat, right? They would still, but I mean, if he freed the slave, what did they do? Were they able to go out and leave and come and go as they please and leave the states? Or did he let them go just for someone else to enslave them, or someone to say, you know what, I think I'm gonna lynch you. I think I'm gonna kill these slaves I just ran up on, talking about they free.
So Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were you could say Sephardic, dark-skinned people. There's a book, if you all, it's called The Six Black Presidents, and it's available for you all to get, but you have to possibly, brother, how would they get it? Because I gave you the information, because I don't know if that link is safe to share on here.
What we can do is we can put it up in community.
Okay.
And if you want that to happen, you could put it up on community, and the panelists can get to it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that some point tomorrow, if that's okay.
Yeah. Because a lot of the I just it's a lot of works that I get that I do make PDFs myself, rare books, and I make them available on that particular site so that you have access to it. It's one really good book that I just put on there, and it's talking about the Oh man, this is some interesting information, but it's dealing with the Latin, the Latin and African diaspora. It's some real heavy stuff in there. But to continue on with the conversation that we're talking about currently, I sent a lot of information to you about the griots, and we see that, you know, that is something that is, the word griot is tied to the music, to praise, and a lot of the, especially Judah is praising, so that word is actually tied to the actually Yahudim people. And a lot of the people who came from Portugal's during the 1492 expulsion, they were called griots, Mandi. So all the words griot, Mandi, several other words that they used was referring to the people who were reverencing Yah. So so that it's just amazing. And I just got this book. I don't know if I'm gonna do a PDF on it. It's called The Griots and Griots, and actually it details in there that a lot of that information from our people were the people that was referencing and reverencing Yah. So
here's what I want to do, Dor, because the information that you have is so powerful, and it's going to take everyone down a rabbit hole. You and I can discuss offline via email what you want to disseminate and how you want to disseminate, if that's okay. Because,
sure.
And here's why I say that, brother. And fam, I'm not exaggerating, but the brother is a walking encyclopedia. Did you guys and our family was poor as hell, if I could say that, right? But my mom and dad did buy a set of encyclopedias. We had those white ones that is either white ones or the blue ones that everybody had. I think we had two different sets, right? So instead of going to the library, you could hit the encyclopedias and get the information if you were doing book reports or whatever, right? Not that I was into doing book reports because I wasn't into school like that, but that's a whole different conversation. This brother right here, though, is a walking set of 5 sets of encyclopedias. And so what we're going to do is, Dor, we'll take this offline and we'll figure out how we can get the information to the people, whether it be through community page, dropping stuff on community and doing it like that, because I guarantee you, family, you'll get one of these books that the brother done shared. You're gonna start reading it, and it's gonna take you down a rabbit hole. You're gonna start doing research, and that's gonna take you down a whole nother rabbit hole, which is good because we need other brothers and sisters to be pushing this information, because there's so much information out there about who we are and what we really went through, if that makes sense. So anybody else got anything to add about this liar right here that's on your screen right now? Well, yeah, I call him a liar because he's trying to absolve what his people did. Brother Hal, you hit the nail on the head with your commentary, bro. Um, they're not going to escape, but I've noticed that they've been reaching, and like I said, I pay attention to this community. I pay attention to the white prophetic community because they tell on themselves. Anytime they say something, it's going to go out, and then you'll be able to quickly see where, okay, you lying because this is exactly what your people did, right? So I'm going to move off this video. I'm going to go to the next one. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. Okay, so again, these are physicians of no value, and this is coming from CBN. I'm not going to play this whole 13-minute. I know exactly where I want to start, but I want you guys to hear them, because now when you hear these entities speak, you're listening to them with a different lens, and you should be able to point out the comedy, the error, and the hilarity of what they're talking about, right? So I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Well, good to have you. You are obviously a celebrated author. How many books have you written?
Oh, it's in the upper 30s.
Yeah, I was going to say it's 30. It's 30 plus. The reason I bring that up is because of all the people out there who write on a variety of issues, and you've written on a lot of issues, but prophecy is a big area of focus for you. You've done some amazing work in this arena. And right now, the world is watching Russia, they're watching Ukraine. And I think a lot of people are wondering in the back of their mind, what is going on here? And so what do you make of this Russia situation? What's your take from a prophecy perspective?
Yeah, what's very interesting is that, here we are, we're hopefully kind of coming out of the COVID chaos crisis era that we've been in, but who knows? But that got the world thinking because, at no time in my lifetime was the whole planet talking about one thing. And so we've sort of been in upheaval. It's almost like these, geopolitical tectonic plates are shifting all over the world. And so while on the one hand, there's calls for global unity, now we got Russia coming in and once again trying to divide the world by invading Ukraine. So, yeah, it's got people thinking, it's got people wondering, does the Bible really say anything about this? And of course, Jesus in Matthew 24, when he's talking about the latter days, the end times, the time of tribulation, talks about there'll be wars, rumors of wars, a nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. I don't think that's what he's talking about in this particular case, but it certainly is a prelude or a preview, if you will, of sort of the warm-up act for things that are going to happen later on.
Yeah, no, and that's, so well said. I know one of the big questions is, okay, well, where do people find Russia in Scripture? So let's start there. Is Russia in Scripture? And then let's talk about Ezekiel, because I know that's where you're going to go from here. But take us through that. Why Russia?
Yeah, well, from a biblical perspective, anytime you have directions given in the Bible, then you always start with Israel being kind of the center or the navel, if you will, the center of the compass. And it speaks about these nations coming from the uttermost parts of the north. And of course, if you just do a straight line north of Israel, you're going to land in the middle of Russia. And so that's one reason. Another is because the word Rosh is used in Ezekiel chapter 38. And of course, there's different opinions as to what that means. But I think the most plausible explanation is that it just simply refers to Russia because it's referring geographically to it. And even the name itself. When you get down to Magog, it says there'll be this war of Gog and Magog. I know that Josephus, the Jewish historian, identified that area as the area of the Scythians where they lived, which is really modern day Russia. It really includes Ukraine rather. And so really you've got Rosh is Russia and part of Russia being Magog, and all that just really fits. And most scholars today, Billy, are pretty united on the fact that Magog does include Russia and at least parts of the former Soviet Union.
Yeah, and that portion of Ezekiel, when you look at Ezekiel 38 and 39, this idea of Gog from Magog, Gog would then be a world leader, really the leader of Russia in this case, essentially, pending Russia is Magog. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, so the word Gog just simply means chief or ruler or head. He's the kind of the top dog of the organization, if you will. And so, yeah, he would be identified as the leader.
So it's interesting. And as you said, the directions, it's very clear in Ezekiel that this is a nation to the north, right? Now, some people, there are all different perspectives on this. And obviously, just right before this in Ezekiel is the conversation in Scripture, one of the many, of Israel basically coming back to fruition, of having the Hebrew people spread throughout the world, then coming back and having this, what seems like it's describing a period of success, right? And no famine and all of that. So the idea is that the first part there, the Israel part, and I want you to correct any pieces of this or fill in any blanks, but the Israel part would have been fulfilled in 1948, let's say, and since then. But this invasion part that we're talking about, the nation to the north, would have not been fulfilled, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And chronologically speaking, in order to have an invasion of Israel, you have to have an Israel. So, yes, Israel became a nation again after almost 20 centuries being scattered to 70 countries. Their language was dead. It's really the miracle of miracles in the end times. And that's what Ezekiel 36 and 37 talk about, is that God's going to bring his people back together again. And of course, as you know, over 6 million Jews, over half of the Jews in the world now live in Israel. So then you get to Ezekiel 38, and now you've got this coalition of nations. You've got Rosh and Gog, the prince of Rosh, and Magog, and then this list of other nations that, ironically enough, turn out to be Islamic nations that are surrounded.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there because I believe in all of their entertainment. They already got to the punchline. So you brothers have any comments on what you guys heard?
They don't know prophecy until, that's the funny thing about these white evangelicals. And it seems to me they don't really, they don't know prophecies until after the fact. You know what I mean? We've been talking about all these things gonna happen. But once it happens, now they got to jump on the scene and try to interpret it. And the truth is, they be watching our stuff behind the scenes anyway. They get all their information from us. But other than that, I ain't got nothing to say. It do look gay.
One thing I think is kind of strange, and I've definitely heard this before, is the idea. He said something, and I'm going to paraphrase him, about never in history or never in his lifetime, something to that effect, has he seen the world stop for one thing like the pandemic. And I find that a little strange, only because, the pandemic was certainly something that made the world stop and pay attention and look. But something happened in 2020, in the summer of 2020, that stopped the world and made the whole world take a look at the United States of America and the way they were treating the so-called black man. And everywhere around the world, people were protesting. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know how sincere their protest was, but that is something that everybody in that moment, everybody around the world, when George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, and those were, just three in a sea of billions, if you want to say, but those three stopped the world, and everyone at that moment was paying attention to us.
Hey, brother Hal, I want to add. I'm sorry to cut you. I'm gonna be quick though. In that moment though, when all that happened, because I've been using it to open up the people's eyes around here now. But in that moment, when the world stopped and all eyes was on us, the church had nothing to say.
Exactly, bro.
Nothing.
And that's exactly where I was going next. That was exactly where I was going next. We did not see the church rise up. We did not see the Christian church rise up. We did not see, basically, I don't remember any religions in particular rising up, but the church certainly didn't rise up for us. We had all these voices around the world, pretty much in every place around, every major place around the world, rise up in defense, in some sort of defense for the way so-called black people were being treated in America, except the church. So in his lifetime, if he's never seen the world stop for anything other than the pandemic, his eyes haven't been opened.
Also, you notice when he said Israel was scattered, throughout the nations, they always, when you heard them talk about that, they always leave out one thing about Israel being scattered: slavery or captivity. They leave that out because they know for a fact it don't fit them people. So they leave that part out. And they always say, I was debating this Christian lady. Y'all know her. What's her name? But y'all know her anyway. She had this one guy on here, Cherry Love, that's who it was. But anyway, the one guy came online. I was debating like three of them. And he said, I can prove that them Jews been scattered throughout the world. I said, how they been scattered? He said, well, they traveled to this place. I said, hold up, bro. Let's look at the text, Luke 21. It don't say they were going to travel. It says they was going to be taken in captivity into all kingdoms of the earth. Can you prove that? Of course, he shut up because he couldn't prove it. And I noticed he left that part out.
That was one of the biggest points. That was one of the biggest points in the video, because he said that they were scattered into the 70 nations, then they came back. But then he also said that their language was lost. Huh? So really, he getting on TV and on YouTube, and mind you, these are big time people. CBN is one of their big time networks. These people are physicians of no value because our people done stopped listening to them, and their own people now stop listening to them because you got them running out of the church too. They going back to paganism because they seeing Christianity don't work. But you're a physician of no value, and you're a liar. You're a bald-faced liar. If you still hanging on to the thread that diffuses the people of the book, then you're a liar. I don't care what you look like. You could look like me. You could look like Banya. You could look like Dorvell. I mean, that's actually, totally irrelevant. But you are physicians of no value. Now I'm gonna play this last video, and I said I was gonna play Hagee first, but I said what I was gonna do to you guys in my mind. I said, okay, I'm gonna play this one first, then we'll get to Hagee, because you still have different people still hanging on to the rapture, and this is again proving that they physicians of no value, because everybody in the chat and all Israelites know that these people don't know prophecy, because first of all, you have to know who the people of the book are. Once you know who the people of the book are, all that other stuff falls in line, and then it starts making sense. So let me get to my my screen here so I can share my screen. And brothers, before I do that though, let me not be rude, because the brothers been rocking out pretty hard. So brothers, do you brothers have anything to say on that last video before I jump to the next one? I don't want to step on you guys' thoughts, because you guys, when I let you guys go, you guys really, really go. So I don't want to impact that.
I'm good.
I don't believe you, but okay. No, I believe you. You know, I'm just being foolish. Any brother Banya, Hal, Yash, Kadar, Dor, you guys got any comments on that last liar before we get to John Hagee, the porky pig of all liars? Because he done told some great lies, but I want you guys to hear his eschatology. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just look at my emoji. I put crickets up there.
I've been looking at him, and you know what I'm gonna say to you, boy. You need to get saved, because ain't none of y'all saved, and nobody on this channel saw that the earth is saved, and that's y'all problem. Y'all need to get saved. And here's the question that I have for Christianity: when you say this prayer and then you get saved, what do you say from? Let me play the video.
Israel is saved by grace.
That's Israel. What about the Christians? What they say for? From?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, they saved for slavery, and they ain't saved. I feel sorry. I don't even feel sorry for them.
Men of God,
Let
and
this
this place is going to be heaven on earth from time immemorial.
Break it down, because some people might be hearing that for the first time. Okay. The second coming and the rapture are two different things.
Yes.
Explain, please, sir.
The rapture of the church is when Jesus comes for his church. The second coming is when Jesus comes with his church. The rapture of the church happens when he appears in the clouds of heaven. He does not come to earth. We go up to meet him. The dead in Christ rise first. We which are alive and remain shall be instantly caught up to be with the Lord in the air, and we go to heaven. The first thing that happens is the judgment seat of Christ. Paul said we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ to give an account of the deeds that have been done in our body, whether they are good or whether they are bad. Our works are going to be tried by fire. so that our lives in its essence will be given purity as we enter our eternal life. Every person is going to stand here. People say, well, you're already in heaven. It's not a matter of if you're going to be in heaven or not. It's a matter that you are going to give an account to God for what you have done and what you failed to do. The gap that exists between what you could have been and were not because you did not use the opportunities God blessed you. You are still going to be in heaven, but you are going to receive a reward in heaven based on what you did on this earth, where there are going to be 5 different crowns that you can receive. You'll receive a white robe, and we are going to receive the mansions. We are going to be there for a period of 7 years, and there will be the marriage supper of the Lamb. While we're in heaven 7 years, there will appear on this earth the Antichrist, and he's going to set up a government of 10 men who will lead groups of nations that will be complete dictators on the face of the earth. Every commercial exchange will be recorded. You cannot do anything without his permission. He will start out making a treaty with the state of Israel that's for 7 years. He will break that treaty in 3.5 years. In this 7-year period, there will be 7 seals, 7 trumpets, and 7 vials. 21 supernatural acts of judgment that are coming on this earth. Just one of those acts will be whenever angels are released to destroy 1/3 of the earth's population in a day. What's going to happen on this earth will be hell on earth.
Wow.
And we, the bride of Christ, are going to be in heaven. People teaching that we are going to go through that just simply or biblically misinformed. We are members of the bride of Christ. Jesus is the blessed hope. And there's nothing hopeful about living through 7 years of hell to prove that you love Jesus. The Lord is going to take us to heaven. We're going to miss this chaos, and that's going to happen on the earth. And then Jesus Christ is going to return at the end of 7 years. Those 7 years will be 7 times 360, because that's a prophetic year. If you can tell me the day the Antichrist will sign that treaty, I can tell you to the day that Jesus Christ will come back. We are going to come back. All of the Old Testament saints, the New Testament saints, all the angels of God, and we are going to, there will be a destruction at the Battle of Armageddon of those who have come against the city of Jerusalem. Then there will be a 75-day gap. Now, I know every preacher listening to this is sliding to the edge of his couch saying, where in the name of God is he getting this? This is in the book of Daniel, and it takes me several pages to mathematically and scripturally validate it, but I assure you it's as true as John 3:16. There'll be a 75-day gap wherever, when Jesus comes back, there will be the judgment of the nations. That's Matthew 25. There's some call it the sheep and goat judgment. But the essence of that judgment is, how did you treat the Jewish people? How did you treat the nation of Israel? Jesus said, when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was thirsty, you didn't bring water to me. When I was in prison, you didn't come see me. He's describing many things that happened in the Holocaust. And they said, when did we see you that? And he said, inasmuch as you've done it unto the least of these, my brethren, you've done it unto me. My brethren were the Jewish people. Certainly we're not Gentiles. At this point in time, before the cross, we were nothing. Paul said we were outside the covenants of Israel.
Phrase it.
Hope of all men most miserable. Until the cross of Jesus Christ, we were not.
Now, the problem I have is, besides him being delusional, he was naming off all the things that they were supposed to be doing that were good. Christianity backed the slave trade. Christianity said it was all right for you to steal me from my land, steal my woman, my child, rape my woman and my child, male and female. So the problem I have is where is this goodness? And just one act of kindness doesn't get rid of all the evil you did.
Shoot, there wasn't no kind. What kindness? You know what I mean? He was just talking about what kindness?
Well, you know, they freed he freed one slave, so that was kind.
Yeah, I mean, I was literally flabbergasted listening to this dude, man. I mean, hey, listen, like I said, okay. First, it was you're gonna go. I mean, I said they went from eternity down to 7 years. Well, that's inflation. It's terrible, brother. I don't even know what to say to. How can you believe anything? I didn't even believe that kind of stuff when I was in Christianity. You couldn't convince me to believe that.
Well, how did he get away with saying that the Christians are the bride? They're gonna get caught up to meet them in the air, but Israel is still the people of the book. That came out of his mouth, not mine.
It came out of his mouth. He said so much. Listen, man, he twisted that thing up better than the presto. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's not leave out the fact that he does a lot of collections for the fake Israel.
Yes. He does.
Yes.
I had to stop listening for a second because I had to run and get a pen and paper so I could get down that number so I could get his book for free.
Yeah. and I know Brother E over there. I know he just is totally disengaged. He's saying to himself, "What am I doing here?" You know what I mean? Sorry, Brother E, but I know because this is.
I mean, when he try to use that 1 Corinthians 15, you know, where it says, if in this life only we have hope in Mashiach, if in this life only we have hope in Mashiach, we are all men most miserable. And my question is, how are they miserable when they have the best of everything? How are they miserable when they control everything?
Because to a large extent, they ain't doing everything they want to do. They're being held back on doing some of the stuff. But a lot of the stuff that they really, really, really want to do, they ain't doing it.
But the Bible said, let us have our portion in this life, you know, because our life is but a vapor. So they, you know, regardless of that, it's, you know, they get the best of everything.
It wasn't the title of that said in 1948 they went into the wilderness and got the covenant. What was that title?
What, the one from Hagee?
Yeah, brother. See, what was that title?
No, it wasn't. It's.
But I seen that.
It said something about 1948, but I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find it.
Look at that.
I'll put it back up.
Yeah, put it up there.
Brother Cleo, I want you, if you can, get in touch with John Hagee. Let him come on live, and I would debate him live.
He won't get on.
Man, John Hagee ain't got nothing to do with nobody that look like you, but I noticed that in his congregation, because you'll always have us, we in everything, right? You'll always have people that look like us following every manner of foolishness there is on the planet. And that's one of the reasons why I'm bringing out the physician.
Destroy their lives.
Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
I said I would destroy them. I would love to have him national television. And let's go straight from the book. Because you know, you go to the other books, he can pull out lies. Let's go straight from 1611. And you got to prove to me that these people who you saying are the people, and show me in history where they was in captivity all their life, basically. It's not gonna happen.
I don't think that anybody on the earth can prove that those people are the people of the book. It's impossible. And I wouldn't even, to be honest with you, to even debate them or even have a discussion with them about it is going to be futile, because here's why. They believe that they're right, and their position, and we talked about this with the show that Eric did, and then I did a follow-up show, KC. But in their minds, they're right, and everything that they do is right. They're the moral right. They can do no wrong. What do I have to do with Putin trying to get his land back for his people?
Right.
And America talking about, oh, he's a crazy man. He's going to go into all these nations and do this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. We got to stop him. Who am I to determine for Iran if they can have nuclear weapons on the earth or not? Mind you that on record, we only have one nation that's dropped nuclear bombs on the other. Right? So what moral standing does America have on the earth?
White is right, black get back.
Thank you. Thank you. That's exactly what it is.
But
That's exactly what it is.
But you know what? But if which probably wouldn't happen. I wouldn't say it wouldn't happen. I don't know what's gonna happen coming up, because we have some strange thing happen. But if we could get them on the live, it doesn't matter if they believe it or not. Let the whole world see the evidence. That would be great. But
But that's why they wouldn't even bother coming on, because they already arrived. They'd be like, why are you wasting time with them damn niggers? Well, he said, I ain't gonna waste no time with them damn niggers. He probably said niggers. He looked like the nigger type.
They already do that, though.
They do.
That's why they call it
like that.
That's why they call it cognitive dissonance. They already, a lot of them already seen the information. That's what, especially with the UA, they done seen the information, but they still don't believe it. It doesn't. So, it's like the scripture says. Those who heard his voice, they have actually made the changes in their lives to reflect as such. So you hear his voice, so you're his. Those who they probably heard it, but thought they was having the dream and didn't believe it. So they're gonna go about doing what they're doing, because their feet. Christianity is a business. You're not going to bite the hand that's feeding you.
Exactly, Brother L. That's what I was thinking. Even so, even when they know the truth, they know that they're too far in it. And check this out. And here's the slick part about it. So they'll continue in the lie, but because they're in Christianity, they'll teach you the lie and then go back in private and think that they can repent and say, "Oh Lord, you know you want you understand." You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm not going to say the brother. I'm not going to say the brother's name, but you all who've been on his show and battling forth with UA, and he's in and out and all kinds of. Like I said, look at the money that is generated that people is donating. So this is a money thing. That even when our people go on their shows and start inviting them, it comes from a point to where you're not doing it for no, you're doing it for show. Okay, because the money coming in. So then you have to ask yourself, or we should be asking ourselves, should we really be partaking and wasting our time in the confrontation? Because it's a book that I was reading as well, that it was saying that a lot of us, it was talking about the people in Spain and Portugal, how they were always trying to convince the Christians of their position and how good they were. And how the word, that it meant something to them, and how they were, actually being the guardians of the word. But they said the Christians, the more that the Christians came at them, the Christians began to call them heretics. And from them calling them heretics, they started to be violent after that. And we see the same thing happening now. So it's going to get to a point where, because we constantly are going in their yard trying to act like we're going to convince them, we're wasting our time. You're not going to convince somebody who's, for every source that you bring out, they'll bring out one who's biased, in my opinion. But they're going to, because it's like you said, you could, for everybody, every source you see that says we the people, you'll find something that says we ain't. So, it's a big merry-go-round going around and around in circles. And, you ain't doing nothing but wasting your time, because like I said, at the end of the day, it's going to become a violent thing.
Well, and so much, yeah, you got a good point. But my problem, I'm not trying to convince them. I can care less if they believe it or not. But the people are people that's out there that's lost, that's watching. It's someone that will be convinced and will open up their eyes. Even in John 8 verses 31 through 48, Hamashiach has a debate with the Pharisees. And it was one of the, I call one of the greatest debates ever. He basically, I'm paraphrasing, he said, I'm coming to set you free. They said, set us free of what? We be Abraham's seed. And that lets you know right there that they was the seed of Esau in the places where the Levites should be. Right there, let you know. And I guarantee you, whoever's standing around that's seen that debate, somebody's eyes got opened up. Now, that is true. We're not going to convince them. You go on that show on the Maury Show, I think is what somebody at Tate call it, the Maury Show. I know what you're talking about. That show right there gets a lot of money when we come on there. That's why a lot of us stop going on there. They really get paid when we come on that show. That's how he make his money. I definitely agree with you. But however, if somebody, our people is out there and they need this word they haven't heard. Just the other day, and check this out, yesterday, I had to go get my license changed over to North Carolina because I've been in Virginia for years and I transferred here and I got CDLs. Lord, it cost pretty big. But anyway, it was this black lady there, older black lady, she was talking about my retirement and she was very talkative. And we got to talking about the word. And she was like, I did research and I know Jesus is not white. I said, no. I said, he come from the tribe of Judah. I said, a lot of us come from Judah. According to the Bible, we scattered to 4 corners of the earth. And she just like, man, she had a fit up in there. And she wrote down, I hope she's listening. She wrote down Salt of the Earth and my YouTube channel. And she is like blown away. So you'll be surprised of the people that don't really speak out, that do want to know the truth. And that's why I said, whenever I would love to get them live, hey, I might not convince them, but somebody watching will be convinced.
Okay, so panel, here's what I want you guys to do. Look at this comment from Eric Tinsley, and if that resonates with you, you can make a comment about it. But for me, it just when I saw the insurrection, I saw a bunch of trumpets, I saw a bunch of crosses, I saw a bunch of white evangelicals supporting this, and they never spoke and do not speak against the insurrection or the attempted coup. Those people made it inside the Capitol building. You guys I don't think we really understand how big that was. The Russian army is trying to get to Kiev, the capital, and open that up, right? These people, the same day they went and marched, they was in there without firing a shot, supposedly, right? So what are you guys' thoughts on this January 6th thing? Because the white evangelicals was connected with the FBI, was connected with the CIA, was connected with all the alphabet groups, as well as the police force to make that happen.
For one, nobody's talking about the millions and millions of dollars in damages. Number two, anytime in the commission of a felony, policeman died, you're supposed to be an accessory to murder charges. We've seen it happen time and time again to people in our community. Oh, he went in the store. I didn't know he was going in there to rob it. I was just giving him a ride. He's my buddy. And he shot the clerk. I get a murder charge. When I didn't know anything about what the guy was in there doing. He's just a friend, and I was just giving him a ride home, and he wanted to go to the store. So that's the hypocrisy. You know, just like in Florida, we got a gentleman who the police raided his home 4:00 in the morning, dropped his baby. The baby might have some brain damage, they don't know, but they dropped his baby. He shot, and they getting him for attempted murder charges because they didn't say that they were the police when they came and kicked his door in until he shot, you know, because he didn't know what was happening. So we just see the continuation of hypocrisy after hypocrisy going on.
Hey, Brother Cleo, that comment that you just put on the screen and the comments you made, and what Brother Kadar just kind of relayed, really resonates with me. I think through all of it, especially when we talk about that January 6th incident, the Most High is waking his people up. We know that. We know that we are Israel now, but also waking us up in the sense of saying, look, I'm showing you again and again what you may love about this country and these people. They don't love you. They don't care about you. They don't have your best interests at heart. And until you turn to me with prayer and with your whole heart, following my laws, statutes, and commandments, you know, you will remain with these people. I will leave you here. This is a warning from the Most High. He's showing us over and over again what these people will do if we let them, and if we continue to let them. And yes, we are in captivity. Yes, we need to get out of here, but we also need to remove ourselves from here mentally, not just physically. And I think, you know, January 6th is just another a part of a wake-up call for us to say, okay, they're doing it again. They don't care about us. We need to be really careful about how much we let our minds and our hearts rest in this country.
Hey, brothers, I actually got to cut out. I say shalom and blessings to you, brothers, and thanks for the invite, Brother Cleo.
Okay,
and I want to say shalom and blessings to everybody in the chat.
Peace, Brother Bonnie.
We'll link up later, bro.
Yeah, sure thing.
Peace and blessings.
All right, love you, bro. Peace.
You be well.
All right.
So do any of you brothers on the panel have, let me see, I clicked off the comment because I'll say this, and here's what's a blessing to me, and that lets me know that the Father is working in this hour. Reason why I know the Father's working in this hour is I'm looking through the chat, and I'm looking at the comments in the chat. And although we haven't arrived, right? The brothers and sisters in the chat are wide awake. We're not falling for the okie doke anymore, which is a beautiful thing. I'm totally encouraged by the future of Israel according to the book, but I'm also encouraged by what I see in the chat because we're not believing the lies that these people have been pushing on us. And we definitely don't believe the lie about Christianity and the 45,000 different denominations that they got. But it's refreshing to see all the comments and all the intelligent comments and the smart comments. I mean, this has been a great day in the chat as far as I'm concerned, because you guys have been blazing with precepts, with open and clear and concise thought, just sharing with the family. And that's what I love about fellowship with Israel, is because you guys are on point. And we haven't arrived yet, but I like to quote the War Scrolls, and I do like the idea of us being on par, our nation, our people being on par with the rest of the world. And what does that mean, brother? See, well, that means that the War Scrolls talk about us rocking all of the nations, not just one, two, or three, all of them. And as we rocking them, they getting with us. We getting with all of them, and Mashiach come back to break the tie. So, having said all of that, we're at 3 hours, and you guys know I'm an old head, so I like to not be out late at night and all these kinds of things. I'm that guy that says get off my lawn. So I'm gonna give the brothers a chance to respond to what they've seen through the videos or what they've seen in the chat and make comments, and then we're gonna close out. I'll start to my left, brother E. If you could start us off.
Yeah, I just want to say all praises to the Father, all praise to the Son, to the Ruach. I want to thank the brothers for inviting me to this fellowship, and just simply put, you know, what we seen is just a clarification or affirmation of what we've been bringing out over the past few months, dealing with who we are, who our enemies are, and what their motives are, and the extent they went to keep our people down. And so if you can't see it by now, then it's not for you. And so I'm going to just yield on that, say shalom and blessings to everybody.
Okay, let's see, brother Hal.
Yeah, I'm gonna just echo what Brother Eric just said. You know, this is you know, just another wake up call for us. We know what they've been doing. We've seen it. We've experienced it. Now it's time to turn away from it and start our way back to Yah through the Lord's statutes and commandments. Yah bless you all in the chat. This has been a great discussion. All the brothers on the panel, thank you so much for letting me join. Everybody, remember, if you haven't, just hit the like button on your way out. Yah bless. I love you all. Thanks, Brother Cleo.
Oh man, it was great having you on, brother Dorvell.
Shalom, shalom. Have a wonderful Shabbat, everyone. And the very just interesting and introspective words of Dr. Carr, Greg Carr. He does a show with Carolyn Hunter every Saturday. They do have a learning library where they go through called Nubia and Narrative. I would suggest that if you guys got free time, or that you make yourself available to use those resources, because he's an excellent teacher. And in his words, what we need to be aware of is the government structure and the social structure and who we are to each other. That's something that he says a lot. So who are we socially to each other? And by what the brother was saying, the chat was responding, that means that we have cultural ties that bind us. We have experiences that are the same through this system. We experience the same hurts, the same laughters, the same smiles, the same cries. So that is showing that we're on the road to waking up and actually being what we're supposed to be, our brother's keeper. Thank you.
Appreciate you, bro. And listen, in a few more weeks after we do our house cleaning and drop these nuclear bombs we get ready to drop on the earth, I'd like to have you on as a show, as a guest to KC, if you wouldn't mind. I'm saying that to the world now so that I could get you pinned down. So you can't say no.
I have no problem, brother. I enjoyed the last interaction we had, and You making me come out my shell a little bit, but I have, like I said, like I said, as you could tell, I've been busy,
Yes,
as
sir.
you could tell. So,
Yes, sir. Listen, man. You got your own label in the email, bro. Your own label where anytime we get something from you, we just drop. We send that over there so we can look at it. You got your own spot on our spot. So, bro, you welcome anytime. Matter of fact, anytime you want to come on, just the link is out there. You jump on. You welcome here because it's your house, bro.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
Brother Kadar, what's up?
Oh man, I lasted. Can you believe that, y'all? Like to give shout outs and praises to the Most High, to you brothers on the panel, Brother Banya, he had already left, to the chat. And one thing I would say is that looking at what we see with these videos and how the enemy think is very, very important. But if they want to keep thinking that or keep telling these lies about who the real people are, that right there to me is not really important because we know we are the people. We just pray and hope that our people don't be that deceived on the lies that they tell. One thing I would say is that you got a brother, sister, I'm pretty sure everybody do, a cousin that's in Christianity, but really want the information, really want to know the truth. Everything you say, just take them to the word. And that's one thing I do. And sometimes they receive it. Sometimes they come back later on. But one thing they will say is that you go to the word instead of having my own, opinion. So that's all I want to say. And peace and blessings, y'all.
Okay, Brother Yash, we're going to close out with you. You got the floor, brother.
Yeah, I just want to thank and give all praise and thanks to the Most High. I came out here on fire, but listening to all these lies, watching how they're literally wrapping themselves around that refuge, it took the steam out of me. I mean, y'all anyway, but I was blessed to be on today and get to spend some more time with the whole family out there in the chat and everyone. We learned a lot today. And what we learned is they're doubling down and tripling down on their lies, even though it is evident that the Most High is about to deliver us. So he said, when we see these things come to pass, look up, for your redemption draws nigh. I've been telling people that when the bombs fly over here, you have nothing to fear, because the scripture says 1,000 will fall at your left hand and 10,000 will fall at your right hand, and no harm will come upon thee. This is our heritage. For them it's destruction, but for us it's deliverance. Mm-hmm. So hold on to that, family. Hold on to that, because this is a good thing that I see.
Amen.
Amen. Well, we're going to close out, fam. Hey, listen, you guys be on the lookout tomorrow because the big premiere is dropping, the documentary, and want you guys to be on the lookout for that tomorrow. Be on the lookout for my brother E's 2 shows. He does a show, Wake Up Jacob, on I believe Tuesdays and Fridays. He does his show, and also myself, yours truly, does Kingdom Conversations on Wednesday. So peace out, family. Love you all. Be well.